Oh, I know. I didn't say anything. I was just kind of. Different finger. Yeah, I'm in a mood. Man. So I have music on in the background. You guys can't hear it? What, is this just freaking Team ISW here? What's going on? Brian, Thomas, David, what's up? Just for you guys. Put some balls in my mouth before we start. Jag, what's up? Ever, what's up? AN, how we doing tonight? I'm feeling good about tonight. I don't know why. You guys tell me. I'm excited. I'm excited to talk about some strategy. I'm excited to just dive right into it. But I'm gonna wait until about 9:30. Let some people get in here. 9:30 is when we're gonna do that 3-day weekend. Yes. Hopefully everybody has some good plans. I know it's not the usual Labor Day weekend that most are going to be accustomed to. I really need to find a way to get this sound just a little bit lower because I can't even hear myself talking. Let's see. You know, let me just open up the volume mixer. That'll probably do it. You know, there we go. That's much better. So I really wish that you could just play whatever music you wanted in the background while doing these streams. It would be amazing. Man, my beard looks like crap. I had to run to the grocery store, and then I had to run into the liquor store, and then I had to run back into the grocery store because I forgot something, and I kept pulling my mask on and off, and now it's just blah 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 blah. Ugh. Chris, you feel good because I made money today? You're right, I do feel good because you made money today. Congrats, man. Moving my son into college on Monday. Ooh. So that means you're what, like 40? Hopefully in your 40s. Just hoping you're still a little bit on the young side. Brian, it is always good to see you, especially at the start. You're not just like randomly stopping in. Did you ever leave your desk? Or are you like sitting there watching the views go from like 5 to 6 to 7 within the team, making sure everybody watches it? He's my youngest and a senior. Ooh, he's the youngest. All right, I'm going to have to go up to like 45. Poolside got me on the Surface Pro. All right, so what was our one trade today? You know, I was actually kind of mad at myself because I took this trade off. And I did not take it off because Brian took it off. I think he actually took it off for a loss. And I think added to it. No, he took it off on this candle. I was ready to add to it again. I really like the move, and I like the volume increase. And we just, I don't know. It came back down, and let me zoom in a little bit. Because what you guys will see is this candle here. We actually nailed it looking for this to be the backside. And it came down to right there. And on this move, it went high of day. It came back down. Well, guess what it started doing at that same level? It started bouncing. And it just did not want to get through. And so I said, okay, if it starts to head back up, we're just going to take it off because we're obviously not looking for this to bounce off the same area, because if it does, the odds are this is going to continue. And if you really want to get technical, where did that line just come from? Well, let me get rid of this line first. I don't know where that line came from. But if we draw the fibs from this previous extension, right, or previous resistance, we'll see that was actually 50% of that move. So could there be something to it? I don't know, but it sure felt like it. But in the moment, I obviously didn't have the fibs drawn out, and I didn't even have that line drawn out. But what I saw was it bounce here, And then what I saw in my head was I went from here to here with my eyes, and I said, where's about 50%? And honestly, I had it like right here because I had an order right there at 57. So, but I put that order out based off of this top, but then it made this top, but I just left the order there. But as you can see, it tried, but ultimately I got out. It did go back up and test 72, and then it flushed. So a little disappointing. I wasn't wrong in the moment. It did bounce there, but I was a little disappointed because it ended up giving us the move. We would have been filled all the way up here at 57, right? So I can't sit here and say I'm mad because I didn't get the whole move, because I don't do that anyway. But a lot of people will get out like here or even where I did, and they'll be like, oh man, this could have been so much better. Oh yeah, I need to get rid of the special guest thing out of there. Yeah, she I had asked the wife to join us tonight, and she was down for it. And that's why I put it in the title. I actually changed that around like 7 o'clock. I put the with special guest, and then we put the kids to bed, and she sent me a message on GChat. She was like, I really appreciate it, but can I take a rain check and do it next week? And I was just like, okay. So then I added the she bailed part to the end. Yeah, I'm sorry. So I call him sir anyway, so I guess I need to up that and call him God from now on. I've been calling him the Holy Grail is what I've been calling him. Yeah, next week it's actually funny because Friday I'm gonna trade in the morning, and then I'm gonna take some melatonin, and I'm gonna pass out, and then I'm gonna wake up. I'm gonna do the live stream, and I'll probably live stream for most of the night, because when the live stream's over, I'm going to be driving to Myrtle Beach, and I'll be gone that entire next week. So no videos from me. I didn't blow up. We're actually just taking a vacation. Yes, we're doing everything the right way. We're not doing anything with other people. We are going to the beach, but we're not, going to spring break or anything. We're taking the kids. We have our own cabin. We have our own pool. We have everything down there. We obviously are still going to go to the beach, but we're going to, keep our distance. We've kept our distance this entire time. It would be kind of pointless to not do so now. So I think the jiggler, yeah, I love the jiggler. That's actually, I think, what I call you the most now that I'm thinking about it. The jiggler. Do you have dreams like me? Candlesticks all night. This is gonna sound funny. So back when I played poker all the time, my girlfriend at the time said that I would literally, in the middle of the night, like say random poker things, like, how dare you raise me, or I'm all in, or just like random poker things. And but no, I haven't. I honestly, since I've been day trading, and I love this even more than poker. I haven't, not yet anyways, and I'm 2 years in. Actually been about 2 years and 2 weeks now. August 21st of 2018 was my first day. We got 14 people in here already. Nice. Yeah, here we go. Hit that like button. That's what it's all about. Let's get everybody in here. We're going to go over some strategy in about 19 minutes. But for now, we're just putting some balls in our mouth. Get us nice and awake. I saw somebody said VVPR. Yeah, Jag. I think there was a couple people that played this one this morning. Yeah, this actually was a pretty good one. I mean, obviously in hindsight. Blow this up a little bit. So I'm assuming you're talking about this move here. Let's see, what did this get to? And what did we come back down to? Previous resistance around this area, 1040. Yeah, that's a pretty good move. Volume was there. Yeah, I didn't have this up. Yeah, can I play this? Maybe that's why. Maybe I pulled it up and I can't play it. VVPR. Yeah, so I have no shorts on this one. Actually, let me put this montage down here just so I have it, just in case. Ah, crappers. Montage. Pop out. Put you right there. Anchor. How about that spy? How about that SPY today? Wow, it recovered? Holy crap. I was not here for the entire, like, after 11:30 or 12. Whenever I posted my video, I was gone. I was playing with the kids because they were home all day. Wow. It actually almost fully recovered. That's crazy. I mean, obviously not from that, but yikes. I guess that means other things recovered too. Jeez. Wow. Yeah, when I left, Tesla was hovering down here. Look at that move back up. Wow. 380 all the way back up to 420. Actually, even went higher. Jeez, that's crazy. The jiggler sounds like a name of somebody that lures little kids into a panel van with candy. I mean, yeah, it does, but hey, the jiggler does work. Was VVPR wild? Yeah, see. I probably pulled it up and saw that I didn't have shares, so I just, because like you'll see me if I see something on the scanner, like let's say VVPR, and I'm looking at Tesla, I'll pull it up, I'll be like, oh, no shorts, and then I'll just immediately go to something else. Obviously not Tesla and the SPY, but the Spitty. Got it in the afternoon. Oh, right, the clock issues, yeah. That was so weird. And it was only you. So that made it even more weird. If it was everybody, it'd be like, okay, something's going on. But yeah, because me, Thomas, and I even asked, I forget who else. Who did I ask? I asked somebody in ISW. They were messaging me in Discord, and I was like, hey, can you just check your ISW clock and CMEG? And they said it was fine. So the kids are doing good, man. Braden, my oldest, he's going to be 5 in March, so he's still got a little while, but this past Tuesday, he just started pre-K. It's crazy. It's crazy because 2 years ago, I was trading with both of them, a 3 and well, they weren't even 3 and 1 yet. They were about to turn 3 and 1. So I had a 2-year-old and an under 1-year-old, a newborn basically still, an infant. And now they're it's crazy to think that you can sit here and say a 4 and 2-year-old are all grown up, but I already feel like they're just all grown up. Like we're almost done with potty training. Well, we're potty training the little one, so hopefully no more diapers. Like they're starting to find themselves as people. It's crazy. It's crazy. Braden, man, he's the smart kid. I was a jock growing up. My brother was like the smart, nerdy kid, and it's funny how different like siblings can be, because Braden is, you can tell, just that smart. I'm not gonna say he's a nerd, but you can tell like he's more interested in like the computer, like this tablet, and like putting things together and taking them apart, like stuff like that. Where the young one, Camden, he's more interested in throwing balls, like, throwing stuff everywhere. Like he's more active. Like he wants to kick the ball. He wants to, throw pillows, like wrestle around. It's just crazy how two kids can be so different. But I mean, they're both going to play sports. It's just, there's no way I can be their father and them not at least try sports. So what sport? I'm going to do my best to let them choose. But I played baseball and soccer. So if they do pick that, it'll obviously be a little bit easier for me to kind of help them along. But whatever they want to play, football apparently is out of the question. The wife won't allow that, just like my mom wouldn't let me play football, which, is probably for the best. But, I'll always wonder what if, especially because I was really good at soccer growing up. I was always the kid that would take all the free kicks because I was the only one that could kick the ball really far. And later in life, I don't know if all of you know, but I ended up enjoying kicking field goals in my spare time. And it's funny because it actually started because I love watching football. I've always liked football. And I just remember watching fucking Hauschka miss that goddamn freaking divisional playoff game to go to overtime field goal from like it was like 29 or 34 yards. I don't remember exactly. It was close. And I was just like, how? Like, how do they miss those? And like, I get it, game situation, these oversized men running at you. I get it. But at the same time, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go out there and I'm going to, just do it for fun. So I bought the stuff and I started doing it for fun. I actually became pretty good at it. I was the furthest I ever hit was 55, and I couldn't physically kick it any further. And granted, I was doing this in my early 30s, so I was pretty I was late 20s. Yeah, I was like 20, 28, 2000. Yeah, 28. Crazy, 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 crazy. Anyways, thanks for leading me down that path, Adachi. But yeah, they're doing well. See that sell-off after hours. Was SoftBank getting out of their options today because Tesla, no SPY? Oh, you're saying I don't know who SoftBank is, and I don't know if you're talking about the SPY or Tesla. So I don't know. The sell-off? So oh, you're talking about this sell-off? Yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna lie, I love having this music in the background. I know you can't hear it, which is the part that sucks. 55 what? Feet? No, yards. You jerk. 55 feet? That's like, what's that divided by 3? That's not even 20 yards. You know, I actually, hold on. I actually made a video. It's how I find my other account now. But I actually made this video back in 2015. You guys aren't going to be able to hear it, I don't think. Is it even going to play? Oh, there it goes. But basically, it was just going over like keeping your feet down, and then like how you have to control the ball in the end zone. But if you're running down the field, all you have to do is just get the ball across the line, and then whatever happens after that, you don't have to control it to the ground or anything. And I had an example in there. Yeah, here it is right here. I don't know why it's like being super slow. Yeah, that's so like right here. So he reaches over the line, and as long as it crosses the line, it doesn't matter what happens instantly after that. Like he could fumble, they could run it back, it doesn't matter. And to me, I just found this complete crap because before that, and as you can see, he did cross the line, but I don't know if it was, yeah. So back before this, I talked about how he catches the ball. These all happened in like the same day, and I just remember saying, so 1, 2 steps, he's in the end zone already, right? So that should be a touchdown, right? He crossed the line. But then he fumbles it, but after he'd already crossed the line. So then they called it incomplete. They're saying he never controlled the ball. And I believe the other one, yeah, Beckham does the same thing. Catches the ball, 1, 2, right there. It's a touchdown, right? But that was when they had the rule saying they had to control the ball all the way to the ground. And that makes no sense because then when you see him trying to, in this play, he doesn't control this all the way to the ground. Crosses the line, he just fumbles it. So I just remember getting all pissed off about that back then. But let's go here. Okay. This is when I lived in Florida. Sorry, I'm just taking you guys down memory lane real quick. And then we're going to talk about anybody that's just tuning in. We're going to talk about the strategy here at 9:30. So I'm just letting people kind of make their way in here. Oh my God, I can't look how tiny he looks. Ugh. That video right there, one of those like viral video places contacted me about this. Hence, look, it got 12,000 views. And it was like one of those ones where if it went viral, like any of the proceeds they got, I would get like a percentage of it or whatever. And I just remember watching this back, I was like, what did they find so funny about this? But then if you really slow it down, right here, so he starts to walk, and obviously in my head, I'm always the guy that is trying to prevent accidents, so I'm always thinking ahead. So I see he's walking this way, and I'm thinking, well, he can't fall this way, so that's why I'm like hovering right behind him just in case he starts to fall. And of course, what's he do? He starts to fall. And then watch the course of action that happens here. So he starts to fall. I'm like, oh crap. So I go to catch him, shove him that way. It forces me this way, and then watch our dog Suvi. She comes and jumps. It was just a funny series of events. I guess that's why they thought it was funny, but obviously it never took off. Okay, so field goals. This was me kicking field goals. Is it gonna play? Let me go to the one from behind. Are they? Yeah. Oh, it's still in slow motion, that's why. I was like, why is it? It's not. So, I think, what did I say? These were 27 yards? Because these were, yeah. So this is when I was practicing for my flag football team. So you get 2 points if you kicked an extra point from 27 yards. You can see the wind, you can see the flags are just going straight right. They're not really helping me. I'm pretty sure I scoot back. Maybe not. Could have swore I went back further. Do I have another one? Maybe not. I don't know why. I thought I had some. It's in a different video somewhere, but I'm not going to go looking for them. But as you know, I was kicking them pretty good. I mean, I was basically hitting that back fence. You can see where it lands, like right at the scoreboard. Anyways. I forgot what they measure fields in. Well, soccer, they measure it in feet. Right? No, they use yards. 18-yard line, the 6-yard line is the goalie box. Right? Because you kick goal kicks from the 6. 18-yard line is where the big box starts. It's where the goalie can come out to. Use his hands. Then 50 yards, obviously, is midfield. All right, we'll get started early. So, anybody here? Who's here for the special guest that is no longer here because she bailed? And then we got everybody maybe coming in. I didn't even mention I was doing the strategy except for in my videos today, but basically going to attempt to explain my strategy in a nutshell. And then I'm going to hopefully get some questions from you guys to help me explain it better. But I'm going to tell you exactly what I do when I pull up a stock from start to finish. From when I pull it up off the scanner, which is number 1, to actually entering the stock. And then we can kind of get into what I do after I'm in the stock. So that's what she said. I'm in the stock. Rags to riches. Rags to riches. All right. What was the stock at? SPG. Okay. So when I pull up my chart, it looks just like this. It's going to be zoomed all the way out. I'm going to see all of yesterday. And if you want to do this yourself, what you do is it in configure? Nope. Is it, I think it's one of these, data config. Yeah. So how many days you want to show in your chart? Like if you want it to be a default. So like when you zoom out, you go to data config and you would change this from and to. So 2 would obviously be the current day. And then let's change this to 02. Oops. So now it added the day before, right? So if I wanted to, I'd have to scroll in to get to that point. But there's a reason why I have it set to just the previous day. So that way, when I'm scrolled out as far as possible, I know that it's going to be the same exact chart every single time. And that's important. And I'm going to tell you why. It's going to have something to do with the montage, which let me load. So as you can see, I have these buttons here: 5 cents, 10 cents, 25 cents, 50 cents, $1, and $2. So that's gonna come into play here in a second. So when I pull up the chart, what am I looking for? I'm looking for extension first. That's the first thing I look for. If I pull up a stock and I see this, and say the stock is like right here. Say we're on this candle when it starts alerting on the scanner. So obviously I'm not pulling up anything that's not alerting on the scanner. So first step is having Intensity Stockwatch scanners. I go to bed with absolutely no plan for the next day. I wake up with the intention of being with my kids all morning, taking them to school, and by the time I get home from school, I'm sitting down at my computer after sometimes I take a shower in the morning, sometimes I won't. Usually I brush my teeth always when I get home because the kids just aren't there. I don't have to worry about it. I get my drink. If I'm hungry, I'll eat something. Most mornings I don't eat anything. Usually I wait till lunch. That's my routine every night, every day. The only time I really do anything extra is Friday and Saturday nights. Speaking of which, tomorrow night, Saturday, we have the Saturday night stream, Strategy Talk. So it's going to basically be the same exact thing. So I guess this is kind of a free one for you. But if you want to look to go into even more depth than we are tonight, join button down below. High level support. We do it 2 Saturdays every month. And it's just a way for me to, you guys know I'm honest at this point. It's a way for me to monetize my time just a little bit for the people that want that little bit extra. I'm putting in the time. It's just a way for you guys to help give back a little bit and help support the channel. So me and the channel. But you guys also know everything that is given to me, I give back. I ran out of money doing the gift cards. Everything I made from the channel, I gave back in the form of gift cards, microphones, like giveaways. Like I give it all back. The channel is here for you guys. It's just to document my journey. It's not for me to profit. Now, if we get to Ross and Clay and Humble, if we get to those kind of numbers, I can't, promise that we're going to give all that money back. But, if we get to those kind of numbers, we'll be doing much bigger giveaways, like maybe even like some actual like monitors and laptops and stuff like that. Like we can get a lot cooler with it and actually do the giveaways, unlike some other channels that say they're giving away a laptop and then you can just tell it was not actually given away. But that's a whole different story. Who here votes that I make a secret channel, nobody knows who it is, I use a voice decoder, and I just start calling out all these other channels that are complete ass and liars and all that good stuff? No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do that. Maybe I will. Don't know. You guys didn't hear that. I'm going to edit that out so you guys don't have proof. Okay. Anyways. First thing, extension. First thing, ISW scanner. So you need the scanners because I literally sit down every morning. Absolutely no plan. I let the scanners do all the work. I can pull it up. There's a bear scan watch list. I'm going to pull these up right now. Sorry. Let me go blow my nose while these are loading. Well, you can see where my chat is loaded. We don't need the chats. All right. Man, this is actually kind of hot. So, I'm actually working on a video, or I'm going to be doing a video. Man, let me turn this fan on. Today with vigilante trading. I like it. Trading Justice. It would have to be some kind of cool name, unlike Guru Leaks. I'll just blame it on Guru Leaks. I'll just tell everyone that I'm Guru Leaks. Give him even more hate. Okay, so when you first pull up Intensity Stock Watch, this is actually what you see. And granted, I am a Team ISW member, so I'm going to have more scans than Elite and Platinum. But really, the only skins I have that you don't, I believe, are these Team ISW Ultras. And that's actually what I use because it's amazing. But the scan that I want to talk to you about is if I do wake up in the morning, obviously I can pull up the gap list. Let me extend this a little bit. So I can pull up the gappers, which I would pull up the gap ups because I'm short biased. So I'd pull it up and I would take a look at all the gappers. I can do that if I am, bored and I'm just want to pull up some charts and see if anything is actually gapping really nicely. And then I'll be looking for an extension. If I really want, I can see if any of them are on earnings, all that good stuff. And then there's the bear watch list, otherwise known as the bear scan. Now, what the bear scan watch list does, let's actually see. I'll actually put it here so you can see it. Let's see, GTX. This couldn't have been more perfect. So GTX was on the top of the bear scan watch list. And what this is designed to do is to find stocks that had moves the day prior, but failed to gap up. That's essentially what this scan does. It finds stocks that had a good day yesterday and failed to gap up further. And it actually and this is usually what it does. It looks like it's starting to come down. So instead of gapping up, it's actually either consolidating or actually starting to gap back down a little bit. That's what the bear scan watch list finds. So how do you play that? And they call it a hangover. You're basically looking to get in this pre-market or at the bell, looking for it to, it had a euphoric night. It went out to the bar. It got drunk. It met a lady or a guy, depending on, what you're into, and had a good night. But then guess what? He woke up in the morning and he was no longer drunk. She was no longer drunk. They look at each other and they're like, run! Good explanation. Basically, that's what a hangover is. You're looking for the euphoric stage. It ran out. It did not continue overnight and into the morning. And that's what it does. You look for the nice drop right out of the gate based off of the extension from the day before. So that is a play that you could look for right out of the gate. I personally am not a huge fan of these, at least not yet. I don't see them well, but in hindsight, I'm always like, wow, that looks absolutely perfect. Let's check a couple more here. So IGC, it tried, but it gave most of it back the day before, so a little bit of a false read there. SYPR. This was a pretty decent one. It's crap stock, obviously. It's $1, whatever stock range is crap, but it's same principle, right? A nice move in the afternoon. It did not follow through. Can't start to come down, and look what happens into the open. The dump off. UVXY. That's one of the SPY inverses, isn't it? So this actually tried at the open, but we all know what the SPY did at the open. So, but again, look, big move. Failed to gap up overnight, actually gapped down, and at the open, it started to do it, but then we know that the SPY said, nyeh. Looks like most of these are those same ones. Sorry, TCON. So TCON did it too. Right? Big day. It actually gave most of it back the day prior, but then started to get back up there, failed to gap up, started to come across, consolidate, gap down, and then boom, right out of the gate. So that's what the bear scan watch list does. It's really good at finding these. GTX again was at the top of the list, and that couldn't have been a much better example. The big day, consolidate, gap down instead of gapping up, and then boom, right out of the gate. So if you want to look for something pre-market, there you go. Sorry, I know I'm getting off on a little tangent, but so the Ultra Scan, this is what I have up. Now, I wonder if anything would actually still be up on the monitor. Probably not, because it has to find it. Nope. Okay. So what's going to happen is there's going to be one that comes up, and I'm actually just going to show it to you real quick. Oh, stomach pain. Oh. Too many chicken tenders. Oh, I'm so fat. It hurts. Oh, it hurts. It's like sharp pains that you get. it's like not the pain where you have to go to the bathroom, but it's that pain where it just hurts. Can't imagine having a baby. I don't know how they do it. Oh, I didn't do it. Let's go back to yesterday's video. So, you guys probably aren't going to be able to see this too well, actually. Let's go theater mode. It's not too bad. Make it HD. Alright, so not too bad. So, looking at the scanner, you'll see, let me go back to my first trade, see if we can see RCL. Oh, that's right, I forgot to hit record, but I had already had it up at this point. Of course, RCL is a higher price one, so it's not going to be the best example. Let me go to, I'm not going to explain that in a little bit, but let me. Okay, so here we go. So look at GTX. So throughout the day, this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the scanner to give me an alert, and I'm basically waiting for it to alert, which I have it set to over 20. So anytime it gets over 20 on the I3 here, you're going to see it turn this yellowish gold. So what that means is the stock is making a move. The ISW scanners are saying, hey, pull up this chart. The possibility of this going higher is getting a lot lower. That's what the scanner's telling you. The scanner's saying, hey, at the point of this alert, within the next 30 minutes, the odds of this ticker going higher than the current price point is not that likely. So, and this is something, I hope I'm not spoiling anything, but Brian just put out a video today, and I'm pretty sure it's for members only. I'm not sure where he's actually going to put it, but this is part of what's in there, and he explained it way better than I could. So, but basically, when GTX alerts here, right, we're actually at this price point, or we're actually probably a little bit before, because I'm already in the stock. Let's go back a little bit. So if I pulled it up, it was already alerting. So we'll say right here. So GTX is alerting at 331. And as the ticker goes on, you're going to see, of course, let me get rid of that. Yeah, I remember missing this ad. I was so annoyed. But if you guys remember, like I said, when it first alerted, it was at 331. And then let's watch it. So we end up getting out there. But basically what I'm getting at is when ISW alerts, it was right here at 331 area. It's saying within the next 30 minutes, the odds of this continuing higher is probably about, geez, I can't type. Is about 20%. Yeah. So you got about 20% going that way, and the odds of it coming down here are about 80%. Now these numbers can be a little skewed. It could actually be like, 85-15, but 80-20 is a little bit safer to say. So when something alerts on the scanner, at that point, 30 minutes from the point that thing alerted, it's basically saying the probability of this stock continuing past that price point is way less than it is probable that it's going to come back down, because it's just extended. I mean, look at the move. So if we get rid of all these lines and come back over here, like, look at what this looks like as I pull this up. Like right when I get in that trade, look at what this chart looks like. This is straight up, right? Now, let's actually, now that you know what I'm looking for, let's pull, wait, was it GTX? Yeah. So how did I have that up already? Kind of interesting. So this was the move. And So what was it? 331. Now keep in mind, this was the first alert. Now it kept alerting, as you saw, and it got more intense up here. So the stronger the move, the number on the intensity is going to keep going up and up and up, and it's going to say, okay, it's getting even more probable. Like up here, when it's alerting, it's saying, hey, the probability is now, getting even higher that it's not going to continue, right? So the higher that number gets on the intensity stockwatch scanner, the more probability that it's not going to continue any further. But even going off the first alert, it said within the next 30 minutes, the price will most likely not be above this line, right? That's the probability of it because of the move that it made. So at 331, it was on this candle, 944. So if we take a half hour, that's what, 10:15? Yep. So this candle here. So we even used the top of this candle. So it did, obviously the range on this wasn't great anyways, but that's all relative to the share size that you use. But look what it did, right? It did go back up higher, and you're going to have strategies, you're probably going to be out way before this anyway. But if for some reason you just wanted to set a timer for 30 minutes after every single trade that you take, obviously you need risk management and all that good stuff in play. That's just a necessity. But I'm just trying to give an example here. The odds are, if you set a timer for 30 minutes, even if you just you're better off going back and looking at charts and doing some back testing with something like this. But go back, look at where there was an intense move, give it some leeway, and then look 30 minutes from there. Where's the stock? So every time you want to do that. What was the trade we took today? SPG. SPG, we entered, this was yesterday. Look at where we entered. Let's go 30 minutes from there. So 10:40. If I would have waited 30 minutes, look at where this thing ended up. We took profit all the way up there. Look at where it was 30 minutes from now, right? Now granted, this isn't always going to happen. There's going to be times, I believe it was just the other day when I played RCL. Was this yesterday? Yeah, I mean, I played this thing 3 times on the way up, and it still went higher. I think the last time I played it was on this move here. I didn't even play this last move. And so I was on this move, and it still went higher. Like, there's going to be times where it just doesn't work. But, again, even if you go from my first entry, which was on this candle here, 30 minutes later, where was it? 10 o'clock. So, actually, it was up higher. But, I mean, ultimately, in the end, like if you would have scaled into this, if you base it off your last entry, say you scaled all the way into this up to here, so 948, so that's 1028 or 1018. So right here, look at where we are. Your average, I would hope, is going to be somewhere up here, like in this area at least. So you're at least under that. So it's kind of that's what the scanner is designed to do. When it alerts, it's saying the probability 30 minutes from now the price is higher is a lot less likely than it's going to be lower. And it's probably about an 80-20 split when it comes to that. So keep that in mind. So how do I use that? Let's go back to SPG. Let's go over to our trade. So that's all before I even get into a trade, right? That's all knowledge to have before you ever enter the trade. So we pull the stock up off the scanner. We see an extension, right? We see the extension away from, remember I have my chart zoomed out like this. We see the previous extension or previous resistance. It actually tried to use that resistance again. So when it blew through there, to me, this is an obvious point of interest, right? Obvious point of interest. So I'm looking for the extension away from that. I see that. It's being alerted on the scanner, and it's a fast move. That's pretty much all my boxes right there. I have 3 boxes pretty much, and she likes them all. So I'm looking for scanner. Obviously got to be on the scanner. It has to be extended away from previous resistance, and it has to be fast. Those are my 3 requirements to enter into a stock. Now, how do I actually enter into the stock? How do I determine the share size that I'm going to use? And, the plan of actually, after we enter the stock, that's separate. Let's talk about how I actually enter the trade. So what I'm looking for, that moment when the stock just rips and everyone's saying, holy schniznit, this thing is going to the moon. Well, guess what? That's when I'm looking to get in. Not necessarily as it's doing that, but I'm looking for it to just do its thing. I'm looking for it to go, 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 and I'm waiting for it to hit that ceiling, right? There's a wall, ceiling, whatever you want to call it. I'm just waiting for everyone, all of those buyers, to start butting their heads right into that ceiling. And what that entails is happening is all the buyers that are willing to hit the ask over and over again are starting to run out. People that bought in down here and, even in here for the breakout, they get this pop and they're like, holy crap, this is a nice pop. This is a lot of profit. I'm going to take it. So now you have sellers that were buyers instead of more buyers, right? So buyers are turning into sellers. Well, what's also happening? You have people like me. You have people like Brian. You have people like Justin. You have people like David now. You have all the ISW guys, pretty much. This is what we all do. So, and trust me, we're not the only ones out there doing it. We're getting interested to short because we know that the probability of this thing just going straight up forever is very unlikely. So we start to short along with the people that bought starting to sell. So when you finally start to get to that level where the buyers start to run out and the sellers and the short sellers start to pile in, that's usually when you get the move back down, right? That's what we're looking for. Now, granted, some people are going to say it's, that we just get a pullback. You get the pullback, people are looking to buy the dip and try to make this thing go higher. And this is usually exactly what happens a lot of the times is you're so extended, you get a pullback and then it tries to go higher and it gets rejected at the same level because the people that missed their sell on the first time, they're like, okay, here we go again. We rip through. Oh crap, it's failing. All right, that's it. Let's get out. And then usually if it does that, you get the complete move down, right? Because everyone that was buying, looking for this thing to go even higher, realized, okay, it got rejected. It's not going higher. Let's sell off. And then shorts start piling in again. So it's all about the emotional behavior. You have to think, what are the 90% doing? What are the 90% doing? And you want to do the opposite, right? If the 90% of traders fail, you obviously don't want to do what the 90% of traders are doing. And the 90% of traders are doing the buying on the way up. A lot of them, you'd be surprised, are the ones buying the breakout. They're the ones buying that, just in this general area right here. They're buying the breakout. They're FOMOing in, looking for this to go up. So once they get that quick pop, if they're the ones buying that move, right, which is just not a great move to buy, but it does work, right? It can work if it continues. They're also the people that are just going to sell as soon as they get profit, right? They're obviously, there's no way there's somebody that's buying a breakout like this and they're just looking to hold, until $74. Granted, they want to do that, obviously, but they almost never do. It's the people you hear all the time. I always sell early. I'm never patient enough. Like you hear it all the time. I mean, granted, look at me. I'm still doing it, and I'm in the higher probability trade. So what am I getting at? What I'm getting at is we're playing human emotion. So if the human emotions are to buy, the odds are if people are FOMOing into this, that's the 90%, right? So if they're all buying, you should be what? Selling, right? That's the opposite of what they're doing. So now when they're selling, because they're getting out of their positions and they start to panic out once they realize it doesn't bounce and all that good stuff, what do? You buy and cover your shares. And then usually that's when you get the bounce, and usually you get a bouncy ball effect. I mean, this chart is about as normal as it gets. I mean, obviously we didn't get the full move, but this is what most charts look like. When you get an intense move, Sometimes you get the reclaim, and then you get the fake out. It's the fake out breakout. It comes back down, and then you get this bouncy ball effect. A lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. I call it sloppy seconds, but it ultimately is just, it's like a bouncy ball, right? Bounces up, bounces, comes down, hits the ground, bounces, comes lower, bounces, comes lower, right? It's just gravity. So that's basically my strategy in a nutshell, right? So what happens if this were to continue? Like, what if, let's pull out the, what if this were to go like this, right? What do I do? Well, that comes into my share size. So how do I determine share size? I did forget that. Over here on the right, when we first pulled this stock up, the reason I said, if you remember, I'm zoomed all the way out. Every single chart that I pull up looks the exact same way. It has 2 full days, and it's zoomed all the way out. It has the same margins, top to bottom, left to right. It has all this. Every chart is the exact same that I pull up. The reason for that is because my entry, my share size, is based on that. Wow. By the way, CW, what's up, man? How do I base my share size off of that? How do these numbers that I click, you see me clicking in my videos, have anything to do with my entry? Well, let's put it right here so you guys can see it a little better. Scoot it up there. There we go. So over here, the scale of SPG, as you can see, 20 cents. So I have a button right here for 20 cents. Now, granted, I'm pretty positive it was not 20 cents. Oh, that's right. I didn't update this one. Here, hold on one sec. I'll do it right now. So this is what I trade on, by the way. This is my default. I'll actually leave it here for a sec just so I can show you what I do. So SPG, I would pull it up, and this is what my chart looks like. Exactly. So as you can see, there's 50-cent increments. So I come over to my montage, and this is how easy it is. I don't have to do any calculations. I don't have to do anything. I did all that beforehand, right? That's where prep work does come in. So I pull this chart up. I see the extension, right? Previous resistance. I see the extension. I like it, right? It's moving fast. I like it. So I want to trade, right? I don't want to have to be like, okay, well, I need to look at the daily. I'm looking for this key level if it goes there. Okay, now I need to do shares max loss divided by current price, whatever it is. I don't want to have to do that. So what do? I just look at the scale. Right at 50-cent scale, I click the button. It gives me my share size. Now, where do I get my share size? This is where the prep work comes in. This is what you do in your off hours. This is how you are prepped for the day, right? Granted, this is something, it's only like a one-time thing, but I will show it to you. I wish there was an easier way to type it in. I'll just do it on the calculator. Let's make this thing bigger. So what I'm doing, I'm taking a max loss right now, and I'm talking like max loss, something that you're probably with the strategy not going to hit almost ever, but it can happen. So my max loss right now for what I'm trading is 125 bucks. So what does that mean for me? Well, I'm taking that and I'm dividing it by the scale. So that's how I get these numbers. I get these numbers here from using the scale. So I take 125, I divide it by 50, 0.50 obviously. I get 250. So that's the total share size that I'm working with. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to, now this is something I found through backtesting. You can do this however you want. You can use 250 if you want, and it's probably going to be a little on the high side. Just through backtesting, I found that if you use the full share size based off of that equation, just your max loss divided by the scale, it's a little high. Because by the time you scale in using 250 shares, you end up getting a little bit higher than that. So what I've found is between 0.6 and 0.65 is like the sweet spot. So what I do is 125 divided by the scale. So this is max loss. 125 is max loss. That's where that number is. So you put your max loss in there if you're trying to do the same equation, divide it by the scale, and then you get your total share size. Now what I take is I do times 0.6, and I have my final share size. Now how you split this up is completely up to you. You want to do 112, divide by 2, divide by 2. So your first entry is 37, your second entry is 38, and then your last entry is 75. 1, 1, 2. Because obviously you can't do 37 and a half. So if you want to split it up like I'm doing, 150 divided by 20. Oh, I hit equals. It's not going to work. 150 divided by 20. So it's 7.5. So I don't remember how I got 4, but it's I think I actually just went off of my old calculations and I just split them all in half, and that's probably where I got it. But or maybe I did less. Maybe I only did 100. Would it work with 100? Let's find out. We'll do the calculation real quick. Maybe I downed it because I told myself when I came to this I was going to make sure that I wasn't getting out of hand. So let's find out. Times or divided by 50 times 0.6 divided by 20. So it's 6. So I don't know how I exactly got 4. I'm getting ready to change all this anyway. Redo the calculations with the new max loss to kind of up my share size. So I might actually just come in here and edit and just do it manually. Like instead of going from like 40 to 80, I might just go 40 to 60, and then like just kind of like 50%. So from 20 to 30, not 20 to 40 kind of thing. Will this get me women? Yeah, of course. If you make enough money. So that's how I determined the numbers within these hot buttons for the scale. So when I pull up a scale, so like AMD down here, let's go back to, now that you know how it works, and that was kind of taking over my chat there. So like let's take a look at AMD. So this is 50 cents, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. This is why you need to make sure your charts are exactly the same. So you can't have like one big chart like this and then like 10 small charts up there. I mean, you could if you're never actually trading on those small charts, but if you only have like one main chart you trade on, that could work. But make sure every chart you're trading on, if you're doing this, has the exact same size, because the scale will be different. As you saw on AMD down here in that corner on the other chart, the scale was $1, and on this big chart it's 50 cents. And as you saw on SPX, it was 50 cents. SPG, sorry. Gee, what is SPX? I think it's expensive. Same price as Amazon. So on SPG over here, it's 20 cents on the big chart, where it was 50 cents on the smaller chart. So you got to make sure, because you can get sized in way too big or way too small if you don't act accordingly. And as you can see, if you zoom in, there's the DOS weird 12 cent, 13 cent crap. And then if you zoom in even further, it's 10 cents. So if you only had just today showing, it's a 10-cent scale. But if you scale all the way out, now it's a 20-cent scale. That's double, right? So that's why you got to make sure if you're doing something like this, it's always the same. And that's why I keep my charts the way that I do. So that's how I determine my entry size. And basically that gives me room to play. So now this is the part that I was having trouble explaining to everybody. I think I tried to explain it last Friday. I took basically, I don't know, it took me like an hour to try to explain it to Thomas. It was either yesterday or the day before. And I believe Crispy, was it? I don't know if he's here or not, but I was trying to explain it to him today. And I told myself, all right, I'm just going to try to do my best to explain it tonight. So like I said, with my calculation, I divided by 20. So where does this 20 come from, and how do we use it? Well, instead of doing 112, where I would divide my total shares, let's say 500 shares, I would divide that by 250, and then divide it by 2 again, you get 125. So for 112, I would do 125, 125, 250. That would bring my average up hopefully enough to where hopefully it's the top of the move as well, and we would get the flush. Well, what I was running into with 112 is if you are early on 112, like actually early, so like say, now we can draw those lines. Say this consolidates a little bit and then it starts to go higher. Act like these are red when they come back down. Consolidate, say it uses this high, consolidate, consolidate, and then it goes higher again. Maybe even not in this time frame, but then say, you know, it rips a little bit. Well, if you tried to scale in, say this was your first entry, say you never had that second one. Your second entry was here, and then you got your third entry on the way back down because you said, okay, this is the top. I'm gonna nail it, and then it consolidates. It comes down. Let's just say your average is like right in this area, and you're looking for a bigger move down because it's such a big extension. It consolidates, and then it goes high of day, and with 112, you're pretty much forced to stop out here, right? Because that is how the plan should be to protect your capital, right? Risk management, protecting your capital, that's what all of this is about, right? You cannot trade the next day if you don't have any money to trade with. So always remember that. That is number one, risk management, risk management, risk management, risk management. Embed that into your head. You should never be in one single trade that can wipe you out. If you are doing that, you're trading wrong. You are absolutely trading wrong. Always, it's just one trade, guys. It's one trade. You should never let one trade own your career. There's going to be another trade. There's going to be thousands of other trades. There's going to be hundreds of thousands of other trades. Do not ever let one trade take you out of the game. Always keep that in mind. It's just one trade. Get your ego out at the door. It's one trade. Let it go. It's one trade. It's one loss. It's actually going to make you feel better in the end, making a good cut versus trying to fight it and make it a green trade. It will make you could end up green fighting this trade, and it could be the biggest winner that you had all day, but you're still going to feel shitty about it because you didn't do what you're supposed to. It's going to make you feel better by protecting yourself versus getting crazy and almost blowing up your account and actually ending up green on that trade. Trust me. I know. Both sides. So let's get rid of all this. Now, what am I getting at? That's 112. What I was getting at is if you're 112 and you're early and this thing continues, but it's still really extended, you're done, right? You're out of the trade. You have no choice but to protect your capital. That's the plan. 112. You were just early. Get out, and you can look to get back in if you want, right? That's the goal. However, what I did is let's take that same 500 shares, and instead of dividing it by 4, let's divide it by 20. So now I'm starting this with 25 shares instead of 125. So 5 times less. So what does that mean? Well, now I get my first entry here. Now I get my second entry here. Now I get my third entry here. 1, 1, 2. 1, 1, 2. That's 4 out of the 20. This is where I'm going to try to explain it better. So I have 20 total as a variable. I just used 4. Okay? So 1, 1, 2 comes down. Say we don't take any off, just for math purposes here. But if you 1, 1, 2 here, your average is going to go from about halfway to probably like here. So you're going to be in the green. If you take some off, once you realize it's not going, maybe just reduce back down to half. Then it gives you even more room to play this thing as it continues, if it does. Or maybe it bounces here, makes a lower high, does the sloppy seconds, and it continues. You know, you can do that, right? It's kind of whatever you end up wanting to do with it. Oh, shit. Out of the way. So that part is up to you. We'll even put this lower because we're not going to say we top ticked it, even though sometimes you do. So it comes down and it starts to go higher. Say you don't take any off. Well, this goes higher. Well, guess what? We're only in 4 out of the 20. So it comes up again. Well, guess what? Now you could either hit this for 2 again, or you could hit it for 4. You can do again. You do whatever you think is best for that particular stock. How is it moving? If this would have just literally kept going straight up, like you know what? Let me pull up the example. Was it DXC? Yeah, it was DXC. So this was my trade that I was actually waiting for, so that and I'll just actually leave this up because it's a perfect example. I can't draw on it with that though. So you see my entry here. This was a 1, 1, 2, and then I hit it for 2 again. I want to say it was, hold on, I don't remember which one of those candles it was. Let's see. 1, 1, 2, 2. It was at 2161, so it was around the same one, and then it went up again. Okay, and then I hit 4, 4. Okay. Snip it, and then you can draw. Well, I have the tool to draw, so I don't need that. I would just meant I can't do the horizontal lines is all. I actually need to buy this thing when I start using it more, because I can actually make straight horizontal lines, but I wonder how much it actually costs. We'll do that. I'll worry about that later. So this was 1, 1, 2, and the other one was 2 right next to it. 4, 4. And my average ended up being average sell 2157. That's like right there is where my average was. So starting all the way down here at 21, and it went all the way up here to 2220, right? We got our average around that 50% line. And that is kind of the goal, is to always make sure you're above that 50% line. That can't be right. I think it was 75. Hold on. I'm pretty sure it was 75. Let's do the, I'll show you guys something that I found too, if you guys ever want to use it. Did I put it in here? Average price calculator. I'm just going to leave that there for a sec. Oops, must not have been the right one. All right, so I'm going right off of my thing here. So 10, 20, 98, 10, 2130, 20, 2160, 20, oops, it's 50, 20, 2161, 40, 2185, 40, 2211. Yeah, 2175. I knew that was wrong. Can I delete? Let's go back. There we go. So 2175, because I was like, I know I covered these at my break even. So right there. Nanner, I got the scanner. Say what? Yeah, see, Gotham, this is what I was running into. Everyone's saying 20 plus trades on one ticker, and that's not the case. So that's what I'm explaining right now, and then I'll see what. Well, let me read what the rest. Hopefully, your platform 0 commissions or your losses will be outpace your gains. 15 winners wiped out with 1 loss. Yeah, no, that's not the case. That's not. That's kind of what I was. That was the issue I was running into, is when I kept saying 20, people keep thinking I'm talking about 20 entries. I'm not. I'm talking about the variable of 20 split. So look, 1, 1, 2, 2, 4, 4. So right there, 4, 8, 10, and then 4. So this is 14 out of 20, and it took 6 entries. So if I wanted to do one more, I'm probably going to do 6, and that would be my last entry. So it took 7 entries to get the full size. Oops. That's how I get to 20. That's where the 20 comes in. It has nothing to do with 20 entries. That's what everyone kept saying. Is like, you're going to enter the stock 20 times? Like, no, that's not the case. And again, people talk about commissions all the time. Well, guess what? If you're using bigger size, the commissions on this is, trust me, not a concern. I get that all the time. How are you trading and covering commissions and stuff like that? Well, right now I'm not. I'm trying to become consistent, which is number 2. The second thing I preach here all the time. Number 1 is risk management. Number 2 is consistency. If you cannot do something consistent at a lower level, you're not going to be able to be consistent at a higher level, because your emotions are going to be all over the place. So if you can come up with a strategy, an edge, a plan, and master it at a lower level, and pay out of pocket, pay the commissions, pay the fees out of pocket until you figure it out. Basically paper trading. That's basically what I'm doing, but I'm not paper trading. because I like to keep skin in the game. I like to know that I'm not just, I'd rather lose money to fees and commissions than paper trade, because when I paper trade, I just trade different. A lot of people do. That's why people say on demo, I can make money all day long. But the minute I go to real money, I can't seem to win. It's because there's emotion involved, and people do not take that into account. Vincenzo, I don't know what you were talking about. Nanner, I got the scanner. Did you get the scanner, or are you just being funny? I like the TM at the end of that, by the way. I would think better entries is the answer instead of spraying orders with the hopes of getting it right. Just my 2 cents. 7 is a lot. No, it's not, honestly. I mean, it is, but it's not. And the thing is, every time I hit the button, I'm not just hitting it to hit it. I'm feeling the price action. I'm trying to read the price action. I'm looking for that jiggle effect that we talked about earlier. Every time I hit the button, I think it's the top. Trust me, that's what GDT will tell you. That's what Brian will tell you. That's what everyone will tell you that trades this way. We're not just hitting the button to hit the button. We're hitting the button because we think that's the top. We're trying to top tick the stock. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to feel out the price action, and we're trying to hit the button when we think it's the top. It's that simple. There will be times, like here, where I thought, okay, we finally found the top, and I will try to add on the backside to try to get more size. That's a thing. But on the way up, we're not just hitting the button to hit the button. We're hitting it because we think it's the top. We felt something in the price action where it felt like it was the top. And if it isn't, that's the whole reason our strategy plays in to scaling into the trade. That's where our strategy allows us to stay in the trade. So you can try to say better entries is the right solution. Well, guess what? You're not always going to get the right entry. And if you're fine with taking paper cut losses over and over again, like, okay, we got in, it didn't work, we cut it high of day. We got in again, didn't work, we cut it high of day. Got in, got it, added to it because we thought that was the top, didn't get in, okay, cut it high of day. If you want to do that over and over and over again, you could do that. Go for it. I tried it. It sucked. I didn't like it. I didn't enjoy it. I was losing way too much, and it wasn't fun. And it ended up not being very profitable either. So, but here, I've, again, been using small size, but over 24 trades, I literally have not a single loss. Not one. All winners. Since I started doing this on the 25th of August, not one loss. So take that for what it is. You guys, and that's the thing, you guys see it on the channel. I post my trades every single day. Go back and verify if you really want to. It works. So, and believe it or not, this was my biggest winner. The one where you scale in and you get bigger size ends up being your bigger winner. And if this wouldn't have literally bounced right at my freaking average, I could have held these shares down even further. If I would have got that first cover down here, this would have been double what I ended up making on this trade, and it would have been even bigger. So the ones that you scale in and you can keep your average up there and you get that drop, that's where you make the money. The ones that you actually get to scale into. But if you only get 2 entries on a trade and it works, okay, add it to the list. Money in the bank. It's almost like free money, in a sense. It's like I didn't even have to work for that money. It just gave it to me. Just take what the market gives you. You don't necessarily always want to scale into these, but if you ask Brian, he wants the stocks to do this. He wants to be early. He wants to scale into a position. He wants to build size, because the bigger the size he gets, the bigger the winner it can be. And when he gets in, it's already extended to him. So if it wants to continue to extend in a fast motion, it just becomes better and better and better and better, right? That's what I was trying to explain earlier. The more FOMO that is into the trade, the more you're like, holy crap, this thing's not stopping. It's just going to the moon. That's usually a good sign that it's about time to get into the trade. Anytime you're like, whoa, what is this thing doing? That's usually when it's time to get in for it to go the other way. All right, let me catch up a little bit, because I'm pretty sure, I just want to make sure I didn't miss any crucial questions. Commissions don't matter when you scale up. What are commissions? That's what I was trying to say. So for me, yeah, it sucks, but I'm starting from where I'm starting to get consistent first. I don't mind working my umpiring and saving money on the side from my affiliates and stuff like that to pay for me learning how to be consistent. I'd rather do that than trying to learn something while trying to prove to everybody that I can make more money when I really don't care what everyone else thinks. I want to be in this for the long haul. So if I can learn to be consistent down here, making 10, 20 bucks a day, then guess what? When it's 100, 200 bucks a day, everyone will be like, oh. And guess what? When you're making 100, 200 bucks a day, nobody's saying, how does that cover your commissions? But guess down here, if people want to hate on everything, then they can do that. I don't really care. All right. How do you manage your risk and make that consistent? I just told you how I manage my risk. So you have a max loss. That's where your share size comes in. The range of the stock is going to allow you to determine your share size, and your share size is what determines your risk. And you predetermined a max loss for this trade. So if I were to get in full size, and the reason you did that equation earlier to get your share size is so when you scale into this position, there is almost no way that you're going to hit that max loss number until you're full size. So once you're full size, if it then continues, you have your max loss as an oh shit button. You can have an oh shit button. That's your cover 100%, sell 100%, whatever your close out all your positions button, whatever that button is, you should have that button. So when you see that max loss, that's it. Cut yourself off. The trade did not do what you wanted it to do. Get out, right? You're too early. You're hanging into a trade too long. Your emotions are getting to you. Whatever the reason you got to that max loss, you're there. Doesn't matter why, cut it off. That's it. And I actually have a button on my montage. Oh, I forgot to pop it out first. Hold on. Pop out. That says right here, stop max. So if you right click on this and go to edit, this is a script designed. So right now, when I did this, I just put it in 150. So when I'm in a trade, if I hit this button, whatever position I'm in, it'll put a stop at the price where $150 down would be. So like if I'm say I'm in full size on this trade right here and I hit stop max, it'll, I don't know where it would be, but say it was at 22.85 or whatever, it would put a stop there. So if for some reason this thing kept going to 22.85, that's my oh shit button. That's my max loss. I have to get out of the trade. That's me protecting my capital. You should always have that in place. There should never be a trade where you're like, well, this is just going. Let's just keep scaling in. Just keeps on going. Let's just keep scaling in. No, that's not scaling in. That's adding and adding and adding and adding. And then say it consolidates and then goes higher and then consolidates and go higher. Well, guess what? You're adding to a loser at this point, hoping. You're just hoping and praying that this thing comes back down when you should never be doing that. That's why you have a strategy. That's why you have an edge. Your edge, in this case, my edge, is the fast move, looking for that reversal based off of that fast move. So if it is no longer fast and it's consolidating and going higher and consolidating and going higher, that's not fast anymore, right? So I'm done with that trade. And this is the other thing. When you lose, it's almost never going to be a max loss. Say this thing comes down, bounces off my average, comes back up high of day, and I say, okay, well, it consolidated, didn't want to go lower, it's going high of day, I got to stop out. Well, guess what? That's it, right? That's not, your max loss is all the way up here at 2280, so you're nowhere near that, even if you lost on this position. So that's how you're protecting yourself. That's how the share size and all that prep work to make sure that you're getting into this with the appropriate size is protecting yourself in the long run. So hopefully that answers your question. I stick with 113 at max at this point since I'm new booty to the strat. 113 is actually much better than 112. As long as you're managing your risk properly, then yeah, 113 is better than 112 because you get your average up even more. Trader tuition isn't losses, it's commissions and fees. Yeah. Again, I would much rather pay commissions and fees out of pocket to learn this. I mean, to me, it's no different than just paying the monthly fee for a demo. So What do you pay in comms? I've said this before. I'm always honest, but I get a different rate than the $2.95. I get the option to do per share. So my commissions per entry usually come out to about 80 cents, something like that, since I'm trading such small shares. That's with, everything. So it's a little different for me, but because I am an affiliate, I do get a little side piece action there. So it is a little bit better for me. $2.95 per piece, yeah, it would suck, but I was paying that. Back when I was with Shirt I was paying $4.95 a ticket, not $2.95. So $2.95 is actually not that bad, believe it or not. So yeah, again, if you want to concentrate on the fees and commissions and stuff like that, you're not going to make it very far. I'm just going to tell you that right now. It took me a year and a half to get over the fear of every time I used to enter a trade on ShireTrader saying, okay, well, it's going to cost me $10 to just be one trade, one entry, one exit. So I need to make sure I'm trading enough share size to make sure that I cover that $10. So I was trading like 500 shares on every ticker just because I wanted to make sure I covered that $10 that I knew I was going to pay every time. That is completely the wrong thing to do. You should never be doing that. That is just the absolutely worst thing you could do. The quicker you can get out of your head the fees and commissions, the quicker you can move on in your trading journey. That's all I'll tell you. The moment that I said I'm just done worrying about commissions, back when I was still paying $2.95 a trade, it was a game changer. And actually, when I switched from ShireTrader to CMEG, so when I went from $4.95 to $2.95, that was the game changer. It was an extra $2 every time I hit the button. So I went from $10 to $6. And to me, I was just like, holy crap, I don't have to worry about commissions anymore. So the sooner you can not worry about commissions, the sooner you can get past that mental block that's in your head that is always worried about it, because you shouldn't be worried about it. It's going to happen. You got to pay to play. It's part of the game. You don't want to pay commissions, you don't want to pay fees, well, go do something else. Go get a 9-to-5. Like, I don't know any other way to tell people than to just sound standoffish about it, because it's again, when you're trading for $500 days, commissions don't mean anything, because even if it's per share, per trade, whatever's best for you, it's not going to matter when you're making that kind of money. But down here, yeah, of course it matters. But are you willing to trade smaller and not risk your entire bankroll? Or would you rather risk your entire bankroll just because you're worried about commissions? Like, come on. To me, that's such an obvious answer. David asks, Brian, do you have per share commission structure or per trade? He said per share. I say trader tuition is definitely losses, commissions, and fees. Yeah, that's the other thing. A lot of people will lose, and we all say the same thing. Well, you paid your tuition today, right? It's no different than going to college. It's no different than starting a new job. Like, a lot of new jobs require you to buy equipment, buy materials, whatever it may be. Buy new clothing for the job. Like, everything requires you to pay up front in a way. So this is no different. If it's in the form of fees and commissions, then so be it. But everything else, you haven't paid a single thing for. People go to college for 4 years, and they're just taking out student loans. How is this any different? You're expecting to do more with trading than you could ever do with a normal career out of college. I mean, at least like a normal career. So you just expect not to pay for that? Like, I mean, some people, I guess, think that's the case, but whatever. They're probably part of the 90%. You're not just going to come into this and just start making, $100,000 a year trading without learning a few things first and paying the price for it. It's just how it is. That was just a slogan idea for marketing the scanner. that was pretty good. Nanner, I got the scanner. I would assume a certain share size per trade would make more sense. I don't know. Has TT showed up? I don't know. I guess you'd have to ask the others. Aren't you at work? Or did you not? You didn't go in yet. That's great. But that one runner may just wipe those out. But I don't know if you're trolling me, Gotham, or like, is there a real question in there? I'm not looking to argue with anybody, so if you have an actual question, feel free to ask. It always bounces at average. The market knows. Yeah, so true. Yeah, GDT in the house. You'll be smaller when you win and bigger when you lose, and that worries people since it goes against old trading adages. Yeah, well, that's why 90% of people don't continue to trade. And that's the fight. That's, I wouldn't say a fight, but that's the constant conversation that I get into. Well, you're going to have one big loser wipe out all of your winners. And yeah, if you're doing it wrong, and I used to do it wrong, and I did have 2 trades wipe out months of winners, but they were on me. I did that. It wasn't the strategy. I screwed up. I let it go against me. I added to a grinder, one that consolidated and went higher, consolidated and went higher. I kept adding to it, hoping it would come back down, and guess what? It didn't come back down, and that was on me. That's why you see me sitting here preaching, don't do that, because I know that's how you blow up, because I did. Unless you run into NTNX from a couple days ago and those gains are wiped. I don't think you're understanding what I'm getting at, Gotham. Why is this? Oh, because it's a picture. Let's get rid of this. Got Mr. Negative Nancy in here. Let's go back. I don't know what you're talking about, so I'm going to go try to find it. I'm assuming you're talking about this. I'm pretty sure I played this. August 28th? Yeah, I was actually in this. Let's see. Alright, so I was in on the, well, I'll just show you. And I'm going to show you why you should have been okay in this. So, well, let me minimize this first so we can look at the chart. So I would have had, let's zoom in. Let's do right there. Okay. So when I pulled this chart up, this is what I was looking at. So obviously I saw the big move. Obviously saw this is probably earnings. But look at what I saw. I saw this line here. And this is what happened afterwards. Let me actually just zoom in over here. So now that we got that line and you see where it came from. So my trade was right here. I actually got in for the double top. Let me pull the chart back up. I'll just do it that way. Is it control mouse wheel? Yeah. Trying to just make it bigger for you guys. Okay. So we had that line right, pretty much right here at 75. You can't see it, but it was pretty much right at my entry because I remember trying to play the double top. And I was looking if it did want to go through because I cut my share size, my starter share size in half because I knew it was a double top. But it was such a big move off the bottom that I was okay with it. And we came right up to that level. I saw it was a huge level in the after hours yesterday. So that's why I played it. It was a nice fast move right up to that level. And I was looking to add if it wanted to blow through it, which obviously it didn't. Came back down. We saw this previous resistance right here from intraday. It started to bounce off of it. So we took it, right? I mean, there's nothing wrong with this trade. And then look at what it does on the way up here. Do you see another fast move inside of any of these candles? Does anything look really like it just extended itself? No. All of these candles look grindy. Look at all these wicks. All these wicks on every one of these candles. It was just, you can tell the price action was going like this, right? It was just grinding its way up there. I mean, look, I know a lot of people, don't use EMAs and stuff. I actually just put it on there so that I can tell if a move is acting linear or if it's actually extending. So I have this 9 here to really kind of determine, is this actually extending away from the 9 in a fast way? like the last 9 candles, is it extending at any point? Does it just extend itself, or is it just kind of grinding its way up? And that's why I have the 9 there, because it tells me, okay, this thing is just grinding its way up. But look, it is extending itself further and further away from VWAP, right? It is, but it's doing it in a very grindy way. So that's what kept me from even thinking about getting back into this trade. But again, let's, for some reason, I don't even know how you would have traded this, but that's why I would have never been into this trade. I liked it down here. We had a key level, and it went to that key level. It rejected it, and then it said, okay, well, we want to try it again. And so we got out of it. And worst case scenario, if you didn't get out down here, you were looking for more, you just stop out here at high of day. You only got 1 entry. Who cares? It's 1 trade. How many times you're going to trade 100,000 times if this is your career? Over 100,000 times. What is 1 trade? Do not let 1 trade ruin you. That's what it comes down to. So I don't really have anything else to say about that. I thought I heard some. And I'm like actually really behind. A new T in TT, not Tinkerton? What? No, the new one is GDT. You met him today? What? I 1000 support your sizing way down strategy. Yeah, it's if you guys haven't read Trading in the Zone, go read it. But Mark Douglas will tell you that there's been times where he's taken traders that were trading 10,000. I don't know. I want to say I'm probably overemphasizing, but somebody that was trading a lot of size, like per ticker or per entry. So let's say 10,000 shares. He would bring them down to 1 share because that's what it took for them to get out of that emotional break that they were in. Give me 1 sec, guys. Sorry. No wonder. I'm sucking there. When you gotta go, you gotta go. Yeah, GDT confused me earlier in the chat room. I had no idea what he was talking about. Alright, if you get max... Constantine, what's up, man? If you get to max loss, how many average green days will it take? I mean, I don't know. I never really did the math. 3? Yeah, 3-ish. Something like that. So, I mean, yeah, it would suck. But like I said, the odds of... And Brian actually talked about this a lot with us in the chat pretty recently. The odds of you getting those max loss trades is just low. It just is. Because a lot of times, like... So, say this does bounce here, and it continues up higher, like your loss is going to be on 2 entries. So that is not going to be anywhere near a max trade or a max loss. Say you scale into this, even like 2 or 3 times. It comes down, tries, you get out half your position, then it goes high of day. Guess what? It's not anywhere near a max loss trade. Like that's what a lot of your losers are going to look like. The odds of you being in a loser that gets so out of control that you end up hitting your max loss, they just don't happen that often. And usually the ones that you think are going to be a max loss trade end up being your biggest winners because you get the most size and you usually get a big drop because it just took off, right? The stronger the move, the weaker the trend. So the faster the move, the better the opportunity. So that's why you scale into the position looking for that drop. Now, one of my problems, as you guys saw on, I forget what trade it was, on that DXC, I have a problem with holding it long enough. Remember I was telling you guys earlier, when these alert, the odds are 30 minutes from now, the price is going to be below that point. So I'm only in this trade for, 5 minutes, not even 3, 4, or 5 minutes. When in reality, if I would have held this thing for 30 minutes, especially with full size, look at how much more I could have made, right? Even if I would have just held down to this previous resistance. You see that all the time. That's one of the things I used to preach all the time, and I still do, right? You're looking for 50-ish%, but at the same time, a lot of times stocks will come down and test that previous resistance before, continuing down in this case. So I personally need to be a little bit more patient when it comes to that. And I know that I need to be more patient because sometimes I'll be getting out of my trade, and that's when Brian is just taking his first scale out of the trade, and I'm exiting my full position at that point. And I'm just like, oh, man, I'm doing something wrong. But, he's seen this happen over and over and over again. And if that's what it takes for me to see it over and over and over again to get more confident that I can start holding these a little bit longer if I have to, then so be it. I have to learn, right? It's not something... You can't just throw somebody into the batter's box who's never played baseball before up against Randy Johnson in his prime and say, here you go, hit this 92 mile per hour slider. you're gonna be fucking running out of the batter's box. You're not gonna know what to do. So this is no different. You can't throw someone in to the seat and say, okay, when this stock is going straight up, when it's going straight up and you just see the candle just going like this is just going to the moon, you want them to hit the sell button. Can you imagine? Can you imagine someone that's never traded before and you're just like, you see a stock, it's just going straight up, and you explain to them that means people are buying it and it's just going straight up, and you're telling them, okay, as it's going up, I want you to hit the sell button. They're going to be like, what? Why? What? Like, It's just not how we're wired. But that's usually the best time to hit the sell button. And I explained why earlier, right? All the people that bought down here are looking to sell because it was a good investment, right? They made some money. You got short sellers like me that are getting interested because it's getting extended, overbought. So we look to pile in. And then you got all the people that are the idiots that are FOMOing into this trade all the way up here that are like, oh crap, this thing's done. We should probably get back out. It's not going any further. And then you get this a lot of the time. So, all right. Now I'm probably so far behind. But yeah, Jags, the O ship button. It rarely will get hit. Do you still scale in once it consolidates, or do you still wait to add once it breaks out of that consolidation? Well, that really depends on how long it consolidates. If this would have continued, I would have had no problem adding to it. If it consolidated up here at the highs for 10 minutes, or even like 6, 7, 8 minutes, then I'm starting to say, obviously this thing doesn't want to break down if it wants to go higher. And then I'm like, okay, well, I'm in such a small position, I'm just going to cut it. And if it wants to run again, I can look to re-enter, right? But if it's on this move here where it's just a quick little pullback and then it wants to run again, I'm fine with that. It's all, to me, that's all the same move. All the same move. So I'm looking to add to that position. Scale into that position. Khan's valid point. That's the balance that needs to be found. Yeah, that's true. Your winners obviously have to be bigger than your losers. But when you win so much, like I just showed you guys, it gets to a point where even if you did have one of those max losses, it's only going to take out a certain amount of your capital. So as long as you just keep rolling those wins, rolling, every once in a while, you can take one of those big losses. But like I said, a lot of your losses are not going to be max losses. They're just going to be these little cheeky losses that just didn't work out. Like Brian on this trade today, he had an entry here, an entry, I think like here. It tried pulling back. He said he missed this wash, which is where he wanted to take most of his position out. It reclaimed high of day. He stopped out up here at high of day. I wish he had the chart. I wish he could send it to me because I'd show you. And so he actually lost on this position, but that's a paper cut. It's just a little haircut, right? That's not anywhere near what you would consider a max loss, but that is a loss. For some reason, everyone thinks that when you're trading this strategy where you scale into a position, that every loss you take is going to wipe out, days of gains, weeks of gains, months of gains. No, that's not the case. A lot of your Brian says he's about an 85% win rate. So those 15%, I can almost guarantee that 12 of that 15%, maybe even 14% of that 15% is this crap. Right? The losses that he's taking are just these small losses where you get in and they just don't work. They just don't work. I mean, granted, usually he would stay in this type of trade, but he was in last couple of days, he's been in like this no fights kind of mood. And I guess because he missed a wash, he just wanted to get out. And so he just took the small loss. Who cares? It's one trade. The series of trades. When you're trading 20 times a day, like Brian, this one trade means nothing, especially when it's just an entry or two. All right. Oh, you meant 112? Oh, or is that 11-2? I'm confused. You keep... But 113 sounds good. Yeah, that does actually sound kind of good, I'm not going to lie. Fees and commissions in the bigger picture, it's 0. Yeah, so true. How do you manage the psychology of being in a trade that's going against you for a bit and then scaling out too soon before the bigger move? I would think those wins would be smaller. Not necessarily. Because again, say this is 50 and 50 and you only have 100 shares. But say you scale into a position 50, 50, 100, 200, or 50, 50, 100, 100. Now you have 300 shares. So if you get the same amount of cents that you would have got with 100 shares with 300 shares, that's triple the amount that you would have made with just 100 shares. So the more you scale into a position, as long as you keep a good average and you get that same kind of move back down, even if you take it early, you're still making triple what you would have made with only those first 2 entries there. So hopefully, I mean, that's about as easy as I can say that. The only time I think about commission and fees is when I get paid a rebate. You and them stupid rebates. I remember when I first started watching GDT on Lightspeed, he was so worried about those damn rebates that he would risk taking like $100 plus loss just to get these stupid rebates. It just cracked me up. I was like, this guy literally will take a loss just so he gets a rebate, like $1 or whatever, $2 rebate. I don't even think it's that much. So that, but he'd be okay losing $100 to get that dollar or two rebate, just because he just wanted those rebates. Man. I learned so much breaking down all GDT's trades the past year. LOL. Also learned a lot losing. Had a couple aha moments in size down, which was a game changer. I originally sized down like you. Yeah. Ears like wouldn't pop. But since then, I've increased position sizes a few tiers up. Yeah. Hey, if you have to go down, go down. There's no shame. If you want to make this a career, treat it like a freaking career. Treat it like this is it. You have to make this work. Work your ass off to make it work. Stop thinking that you have to. You're too good to go down to 10 shares to start a position. Like, stop. No, don't do that. You are better than that. You can trade 10 if you have to. Go down. If you're losing money while trying to learn how to trade, go down so you lose less money. Like, how does that not make sense to people? Well, I can't go down here because then it wouldn't even be worth it. It's not worth it if you're losing all your money while trading more size. So stop it. Like, I just people let their egos and their emotions get in the way. You can use your emotions to trade, just not in the way that you think. You have to check your shit at the door. The part of you that is using your emotions to not go down in share size and that is so worried about what other people will think, get rid of that. It's not helping you. It's not helping you progress. It's actually holding you back. You have to do what's best for you and your trading. And if that journey is going to take a little bit longer than the next person, who cares? It's your journey. I did not think 2 years after I started trading that I would be where I am now. Do you really think I want to be where I'm at with share size? Not a chance. But it's where my journey took me. And that's where I'm at. And this is where I have to be to progress. So be it. That's all I got to say about that. It wasn't an argument or troll, just commenting on what you were saying at the time. Gotcha. Yeah, I'm sorry if I came off rude. It was just it felt like you were being argumentative, that's all. Harvey Dent, can we trust him? Who's Harvey Dent? Is that one of them spam comments? Double D, what's up, man? Hey, yo, what's up, legend? Do you ever look for the bigger move holding a position for an hour or more? I should, and I do. When I scale out, sometimes I'll scale out and I'll keep part of my position, and I'll look for these bigger moves. And I don't know. I'm really bad at it as of late, because sometimes when I scale out, usually it'll go high of day and test, and it's like a mental thing with me sometimes, because like I'll get this drop and I'll be like, okay, I know that this is. We'll get this drop, and it's like right to previous resistance. It was a big flush, right at VWAP. It's like it's almost guaranteed this thing's going to bounce. So to me, in my head, I'm like, well, why would I want to hold any of my position with the likelihood that this is going to bounce? And sometimes it does exactly what you think it's going to do, and it bounces, and it goes all the way back up here, almost the high of day, and then does this, right? So theoretically, why I call it sloppy seconds is because in the future I plan to trade the sloppy seconds, because it's a less probable move, but it happens all the time. You see this bouncy ball effect all the time. But there are times where you get out of your position and then it just consolidates sideways and then does this, right? It doesn't always bounce. So again, it's just like sloppy seconds. It's more of a 50-50 play, or maybe like a 60-40 play. But at the same time, it's like, if I get this big flush, I'd rather just get my money. And that's when you start thinking like money per hour type thing. Like, would you rather wait an hour hoping that it does this, because what if it goes high of day within that hour and you end up stopping out? Or what if it just consolidates sideways? And so you sat here for an extra hour, waiting for it to do something, and it did nothing. So to me, if I can just take my money out of this trade in 4 minutes and move on to the next trade and not have to worry about this trade anymore, I'm good, right? That's how I think of it. But there are times where if I do have like a very small remainder, I'll do my best to let it ride. Like I'll just put a stop in and I'll just let it go, and I'll come back and look at it later. There was a little while ago, I actually held one all the way to end of day, and it just kind of faded like sideways but down a little bit, and at the end of the day I covered, and it was like all the way down there. It was like one of the best looking charts I've ever had. It's like, how'd you hold it that long? It's like, well, honestly, I just forgot about it. Yep, no problem, Gotham. Trading in the Zone audiobook is on YouTube. It is. I actually think I have the workshop videos. It's a 4-part series. They're all like 2-hour videos. That's how I watch it. It's hard for me to listen to audiobooks or read in general, so that's usually what I do. I am Sofa King. We Todd did? What? I'm so confused with that, CW. Your average green day is $50 with a new adding method. That's awesome. LOL. No worries when the max loss comes then. When did I say 50? I think I said 20. But I also never really determined, as you guys saw, I did the calculation for 100. I think my calculation is actually more for 75. So 20, that's why I said it was like 3-ish. 20, 40, 60. So almost closer to 4. So 4 days. It's like 3.75. When longs were working well for me, I was able to get my max loss to 2 average green days, but I would take max loss days more, about 4 times a month. Yeah. That's the main idea to be addressed, I think. The details don't matter. It's the losers being larger than the winners. You need to show different scenarios on how this won't cause a blowout. Just my opinion. Well, I did that earlier, didn't I? You have the oh shit button. And you should almost never hit that with this strategy. I mean, unless it's just a trade that just doesn't work, or you're just way early. Like way early. You have to be way early. And that's the other thing too, with the variable of 20. That's what I keep trying to say. If you think you're way early, say you started down here, 1, 1, 2, 2, 4, 4, and then it keeps ripping, you still have 6 left. But what I'm getting at is you could do 1, 1, and you're like, holy crap, I'm early. All right, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. So 1, 2, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. So you still have 6 left, and you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 entries. Now keep in mind, you would obviously not put them this close together. You'd be spreading these out. So if this thing is just ripping, just ripping in your face, you're obviously going to slow your ads down, right? So it would look more like this. So say you get in 1, 1. And this thing just rips, just rips in your face, like all the way up to here. Well, guess what? Then you can get your 2 up here and then see what it does. And then if it starts to feel like the top, well, then hit it with like a 2 or a 4 on the backside, right? Bring your average way up here, right? You have a 1, but then you have 6 up here. So that's going to weigh your average way up in this area, right? To get yourself back up above that 50% line. But even then, 1, 1, and 6, that's 8 out of the 20 that you have. So that's what I'm trying to say. Every trade's going to be a little bit different. You're going to feel the trade happening. That's where the art of trading comes into play. It's not always going to be the same thing every time. You're not just going to have a 1, 1, 2, 2, 4, 4, 6. Like, it's not always going to be that way. But if that's how the trade's playing out, like if it's just a normal runner and it's just going up kind of normally, then so be it. But if you get in and then this thing just rips in your face more than you thought it was going to, slow it down. That's all you have to do. And then you just have to play it a little bit differently. But guess what? Those first 2 entries, they're kind of like feeler entries. And like I said, when you only get 2 entries and you end up making that a winner, it's basically like a free trade, right? And when you have actual size, the commissions and fees and all that crap won't matter. But if you were looking at my same charts and you had no idea what my share size was, say these were 1,000 shares a piece, you would not be sitting here questioning my fees and commissions. But because you know what size I'm trading, because I'm just transparent as possible, that's a question to you. But if these were 1,000 shares a piece, you wouldn't even be asking. You'd be like, oh, nice trade. So, yeah. 100% agree. I see people like Squirrel Trader trading 300 shares when he's not even close to profitable. Learn to be green on the month trading small size before scaling up. Yeah, well, my new channel, Vengeance Trading, Vigilante Trader, would definitely be covering Squirrel Trading. He's such a liar. God, I hate, if there's one, guys, the reason that my channel is the way that it is because of people like Squirrel Trading. Because the people of YouTube that are watching and supporting him and his channel are literally funding his accounts. He did not have a PDT Thinkorswim account. It was paper. Go look for those videos. He got rid of them because he got called out because he was caught paper trading on Thinkorswim. So this $2,000 small account challenge so that he can relate more to his audience is literally YouTube money. He even got caught saying that in one of his videos, that he said, oh, if I lose this money, I'll just use the YouTube money again to fund a new one. And what do you think he did? He blew that $2,000 on the first small account challenge, and he just now reloaded it with more YouTube money because these people who jumped on the bandwagon from the Thinkorswim crap when he was posting these $1,000 days that were just complete crap, they were on paper. It's just, I hate liars. Ask David. I just hate them. I hate liars. Can you go over your volume study on having one color? And how do you apply volume to your trades? So, hold on a sec. I have not cleaned up yet, and that Roomba will just make more of a mess. So the volume, real quick. I like to see volume come into a trade, and I like to see the biggest volume bar at the top of the trade. So let's see if that lined up here. So 10-10, 10-10. So if you can see the biggest volume bar on the top of the trade, that's almost picture perfect. Because what that means is that's where all the sellers and buyers met. They met on this candle and they said, okay, this is where everyone's interested. So the buyers are trying to push it higher, but there was more sellers saying, nope, I'll take all your shares. We're going back down. That's basically what that volume bar is saying. Now, it doesn't matter to me what color they are because you can see that on the chart. So clearly, all of these candles here, they would all be green. There was more green volume, obviously, right? So you don't need two different colors. It really doesn't matter. All you're looking for is just the volume spike, basically. I like the idea of cutting half position and adding back higher, but will work. My phone messing up. I mean, yeah, I've done that too. Like, it'll come down, I'll take off most of my position, and then if it wants to go higher, you know, I can add back. I know GDT does that sometimes. I don't know. I'd personally rather just get out of the position unless it all happens really fast. Then maybe I'd be interested. But if it consolidates and then goes higher, I'm just not interested anymore. I'd rather just get out. And if it wants to give us a new move, then I'd be happy to play that move. But and anytime you see me play the same ticker twice, like say it's here and then it makes a move, I will do my best to act like this trade never happened. When I am looking to trade the same ticker twice, I will ask myself, it's part of my rules, would I take this trade if I never took this trade? Because a lot of times when you're looking to trade a stock a second time, it's usually because you lost on the first trade, right? Revenge trading, it's a real thing. I've been there. We've all been there. So your job is to hold yourself accountable. Would you be taking this trade up here if you never took this trade? You have to ask yourself that. Or are you only taking this trade because you're trying to make your money back from the first trade? That's a no-no. That's gonna not net positive in the long run. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. So keep that in mind. It's ironic that squirrels love nuts. Yeah, Guru Leaks did call him out. Yeah. Yes, I hate liars. I hate them. It just bothers me. I mean, you got the pump and dump rooms, you got just people posting fake profits. It's a cutthroat industry. People are trying to scam the crap out of you nonstop because there's a lot of money in this industry. And it's kind of sad. It's kind of sad. What was your strategy before this counter trend method? Legend, I tried everything. You can ask Devin in the Discord. By the way, have a Discord if you want to join. Usually on the mic every morning for the most part while I'm trading. But I tried everything. Alligators, Bollinger Bands, support resistance, breakouts, breakdowns, just EMA crossovers, MACD, RSI. I tried it all. I was that person that jumped from strategy to strategy to strategy to strategy. That's what I was doing the 8 months that I kind of broke myself emotionally before I finally got back into doing this the correct way. So that's where Tinker Tim was born. I think I see it now. You're just using 20 as a factor and never plan on using it. If you did use it, it would be like a 1 in 100. So then your 1 and 2 ad wins just add up. Basically, yeah, Thomas. So there's no problem with trying to get to max size, because if you really think about it, using the 20, if you let's use the one trade as an example. So 1, 1, 2, 2, 4, 4, 6, right? That would be 20. But let's say you use it like this. Say you do 1, 1, 2, 2, 4, 4, and then on the back end, so it already hit a top, you hit the 6 because you want full size and you feel that was the top. Well, now your stop loss, if you want, is right there at high of day. You have a set stop right there. Will that be max loss? Probably not, because you were counting on that 6 being higher than where you did, right? Now it's just at where current high of day is. So technically you could still get full size using this, and you still wouldn't hit max loss a lot of the times, if that makes sense. I'm pretty sure that makes sense. I feel like I explained that pretty well. It honestly becomes hard to believe when people are actually legit because of all the liars and scammers. Yeah, that's why I go out of my way to show everything. Like, I literally am making a video every single day showing you every single thing that I can possibly show you, so that you know there's nothing fishy going on. Find me another channel like that besides GDT, and we'll talk. I want to support other channels that do this, because there are none. There is no other channel like this one. But that's probably why I don't get that much attention. Well, I think I don't get much attention just because I'm not trading penny stocks. I'm not doing what the 90% are doing. That's why someone like Squirrel Trading took off, because that's what he does. He trades like the 90%, so they're attracted to that. He loses a lot. They're attracted to that because they want someone to relate to, right? The 90% are losing a lot, obviously. That's what they do. So they can relate to him. That's why his channel does well. So, my channel? I don't know what your channel is, David. I'm starting my channel. Well, please use me as a template. I'm asking you to literally copy me. Be transparent. Be truthful 100% of the time. Show everything every single day, some way or another. Make sure that there is no chance that anyone can think 10 years from now. Will they be able to go back and say, well, I don't know, this year, this 6 months right here, I don't know what he was doing. Like, that's not even going to be a thing for me. So people can literally go back to when I started my channel, and there's going to be no part where they're like, I don't know. Like, I've literally shown everything. So, Mark, what did you retract, man? I think it said something about the scanners. Where's Albert? I don't know. You tell me. Albie did say he was going to be there, didn't he? Or be here? How do you use support and resistance as a strategy? It's pretty easy. So I'll use this as an example. So you got resistance here. As you can see it used it a bunch of times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it broke through. So when it comes up, when it's coming back down, now you have a new resistance up here, but now you also have a possible support line, support and resistance, right? So when it comes down to that support level, it would be your job to read the price action. Is it going to bounce there? Okay, if it is, then you buy, and this is the move you're looking for, right? That's playing support resistance. Or say it's starting to go back up and hit high of day. Well, that's now a resistance line. You're looking to play a double top there. It's going to use it as resistance and then come back down. That's it. You're just looking for obvious support resistance lines. That's it. It's actually Devin from the Discord. He actually does that a lot. But what he'll do is he'll wait for this entire move to happen. He'll wait for it to come down under this area, and he'll look for this move here. So he'll look for, it's under VWAP. It's under this previous resistance that was now being used as support. You can actually kind of see it. There's a nice little descending triangle here. It's a pretty sharp one, but it's there. Descending triangle. So it comes down, comes back up, bounces all the way up to that previous resistance, and VWAP's there now, and rejects. So that's actually the trade Devin loves to take, and then he'll look to play this move here, looking for it to come lower. There's so many different ways to trade. Whatever you're comfortable with, that's what it comes down to. Whatever you think will make you the most money, whatever you can do consistently over time is what you should be trading. As I like to say, a blind squirrel finds a nut every now and again. Well, the nut he found was YouTube monetization, because he sure can't trade. I just think it's funny that every once in a while he slips too, because he'll say something along the lines of, well, it was so much easier trading on my Thinkorswim account because I could just scalp, 5 cents or whatever. And it's like, your strategy should, that's what I'm trying, that's exactly what he's doing is exactly what I'm trying to tell people not to do. You should not be switching your strategy because you're using a different size. Your strategy should always be the same regardless of your size. That's where consistency comes in. So if your strategy is to scalp 5 cents, no matter the size you're using, you should be scalping that 5 cents. That's the strategy. So, and if you don't think that that's a valuable strategy down at 50 shares or 100 shares per trade, then it's not going to be a valuable strategy up at 1,000, 5,000 shares. It's just not going to work, because his problem is he's okay taking 5 cents as a scalp, but then he's using like 10, 15 cents as a stop, and those stops happen quite often. So it's like, I'm not even going to get into that. I want to pick your brain for YouTube channel tips sometimes, if you don't mind. Yeah, man, just give me a message. Like I tell Brian, I'm always available on Discord. He just doesn't seem to ever take me up on the offer. He's always too busy for me. Have any more questions? This stream went really well. I can't believe it's already after 11. 2 hours kind of flew by. The music in the background kind of helps, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, you damn West Coasters. Where do you live? Anybody in Maryland want to come help me do some yard work tomorrow? Feel free. LA. Why do you say unfortunately? that's crazy. The taxes over there are nuts. It's like 50%, I heard. That's crazy. DraftKings commercial? Holy shit. I'm moving up. I didn't even know. You see commercials when the live when you guys join the live stream, you see a commercial? I didn't know that. What is your average amount of ads since you started these? By the way, guys, links for everything that I use down in the description. I'm not trying to sell you. I'm just letting you know if you guys like what you see. Trading journal, you can get a week of it for free. At first, you just got to use the link in the description. Two. I'm gonna try to keep a running tally in my head. 1. 1. 1. 1. So what's that, like 1.2? 6. We know what we can do. I'll use that same calculator from earlier. Or actually, let me just use a regular calculator. How many 1s was that? It was 1, 2, and the rest were 1s before this. So let's do this. One, 2, 3, 4. So 4 plus 2 plus 6. Oh, I can't do it that way because I gotta know the average. 2 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 6. Okay. Plus 1. Plus 3. Plus 1. Plus 1. So here's one where I did add. What did I do here? Yeah, I added on the sloppy seconds. So I took some off on that first wash and then added it back. So I guess this technically would be 3, right? So 3. Oh wait, did I not hit the plus 1 from before this? Or did I hit 1 by accident? Oh, I'm pretty sure I hit it by accident. Plus 1. Plus 1. Yeah, I definitely hit it by accident. Plus 1. A lot of single entries. Plus 1. That's what I'm trying to say. When you start getting good at hitting the tops, you start to see how hard it is to use 20. Plus 2. Plus 1. Plus 1. 2. 3. 3. 1. Did I hit the button? I don't think I hit it. 1. Excuse me. 2. Wait, did I start over again? I did. Okay, so I have to take the last one away. So minus 2. So 39. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I know it's 24 trades. So so 39 divided by 24. So 1.62. That's my average entries per trade. So pretty low, actually. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I have premium as well. My brother pays for it. Sucker. How do you keep track of your statistics, and can you give us a run through of the past few months if you don't mind? Well, this is how I keep track of it. It's called TraderSync. Go check them out. Like I said, links in the description. You get a free week. It's pretty awesome. If you have DOS, you click Add Trade up here. You find, I mean, they have all kinds of different brokers you can import from. But if you have DOS, you just go to DOS. You select the portfolio that you set up. The date format stays the same. It'll have current date in there. And what you do is you pull up your trade log. Where is it? Let's pop that out. So you would right click on your trade log, you hit export, make a folder for just these. Mine's just called trades, and you're going to create a CSV file. So I already created one, so we'll just say, so you'll see it September 4th.csv. So then you come over here. This is in TraderSync. So you would hit import trades, pull this, find that folder, find the CSV file, open, and then hit import trades. And it does everything for you. And it'll put it in here, and it'll give you all of this minus the screenshot that I take. I take the screenshot so I can add it in there. And you can come in here and add notes, do whatever you got to do. You can label the setup, which I was doing. I plan to do it again, but right now I'm focusing on my trading, and I'm trying not to worry so much about like the statistics of it. I'm just more worried about the trading itself. If you made any mistakes, yeah. As far as going back a couple months, I don't really see the point, because I started trading the way that I am as of August 25th. So to me, the past does not matter. It matters in the, I mean, I can show you my overall journey. Like I literally have been keeping stats since I started trading, which if I hit the date, you'll see. So August 21st of 2018 was when I first started. As you can see, my first day of trading was pretty bad. I always like to tell everyone that. I tried to be Ross Cameron the first day. I watched him for like 2 weeks. I was like, oh, this is easy. Yeah. This just goes to show you too that you can have a 71% win rate and still not be a winning trader. So keep that in mind. But this is also going way up and down in share size several different times. Like if we look at the graph, like you can see there was times I was trading way bigger size, and then like throughout here, after this loss right here, you can tell I just went down in size trying to figure myself out. And man, this 8 months from right here to now was just brutal. And the only time I actually was doing good is when I went back to doing 112. This is when I became Tinker Tim, and I started just trying all kinds of different shit. Like a lot of what some people bring into the channel, like why don't you do this, do that? Well, this is what happens when you do that stuff. It doesn't work. Like trying to focus on just entries, doing single entry, all kinds of other, it just doesn't work. Playing the backside just didn't work for me. Went back to 112, it started to work. But then I started falling back into those habits where I just couldn't get 112 to work when I was early. So then I started trying more stupid shit. Like I went back to being Tinker Tim, and I just was like, okay, whatever. And then right here, which is what, August 25th. I'm using super small size, keep in mind, but this is what it took for me. Okay, I need to just scale way the F back, like way back, right? Mark Douglas said some people have to go to one share. Okay, that's what we're going to do. We're going to basically go to where we're paper trading. And I'm just going to start figuring, I'm going to become consistent. And that's where we're at. You can see this is kind of just slowly kind of grinding its way up. So hopefully that continues to be the case. And we'll see. But yeah. Vincenzo is literally going back and forth between his accounts right now. That must mean it's getting late. But yeah, the past couple months just really don't matter because I wasn't really doing anything productive. I thought I was, but I wasn't. I was in a different emotional state. So that's why I just leave everything from when I started what I'm doing now and looking forward, because that's all that matters. Everything in the past is there for a reason, but if you have a set strategy with rules and you weren't using those before, then unfortunately the only thing that those previous trades are good for are charts to look at, to backtest. But as far as the stats go on them, they're not really that useful. I know, this freaking shingles, man, that scarred me. So if 20 entries is max loss of 150, well, let me get that straight. I had 150 in the montage, but right now, if you do the math, like, let me pull the calculator back up. So if you remember, I had 4 shares for 50 cents, but even doing 100 for the equation that we used, it leaves me with 6. So let's try 75. It's even under 75. Let's try 65. That's what I said. I scaled way down without actually doing the math. I just used what I had in my montage and I divided it by 20. So I didn't actually go through and redo this. I just divided what I had currently because that was my 112 shares. So I took that. I got my final share size. Basically, I times it by 4. And then I divided it by 20. So whatever it was there is what I ended up getting. It wasn't actually these numbers. So 130 times 0.6 divided by 20. So there you go. So right now my max loss is closer to like $65. It's not 150. And my average winning day right now is about $20. Like 15, $20. And then you said, what would your average loss be if you never get to 20? Well, that's what I'm saying. I would say your average loss is probably going to be in, if we're using these numbers. So my average winner, I mean, hold on. So my average winner with this current size right now is like $5. So if my average winner is $5, I'm going to say with the max loss of $65 that it's probably going to be like 15, 20, 25 is going to be your average loss. And that might even be high, like way high. Because like I said, you're going to have a lot of like break-even type trades just because you take it off because you didn't get the wash that you wanted, but your average is good enough for it to get you to break even and get out, and you just clearly don't like the trade anymore. So you take it off at break even and you're just done with it, right? There's going to be times where you get out a lot of your position to, make sure you take some risk off, and then it goes high of day. So you're only in for half the position now, and it goes high of day and you stop out. That's going to be a much smaller loss. Like, I think people they see that you're running the strategy of where you scale in, and they immediately have the assumption your losses are going to be way bigger than your winners. And that's not the case. The case is a lot of your losers are going to be much smaller losers. What would you say is the biggest hurdle you had to overcome? That's an easy one. Me. I don't really have anything. I don't have a way to explain like what I'm talking about. There's just that moment where you realize that the strategy, the risk management, all like the trading itself is not the problem. It almost never is. Trading is just hitting buttons. The person hitting the buttons is the problem. The emotions behind it. Whatever the reason you're the problem, I would say 90% of the time, the person is the problem, not the strategy. Most people are using a strategy because it probably works. But usually why it doesn't work is because of the person trading it. Sorry, I was finishing off these grapes. I made a mess too. Emotions are key. I had a similar P&L, but when I sized down and had light bulb moments, it started climbing in an upwards direction. It's good to hear, CW, because I really think that's kind of where we're headed. I mean, I'm obviously doing something right. The last 24 trades in a row, I'm 100% win rate, and I feel like I'm not doing anything special. Like I'm just trading. For once, I'm literally just trading. When I get into a position, I'm not worried about my P&L. I'm not The only reason I look over here is my average. And me and Brian actually came up with the idea. It would be so awesome if DOS had a button, like a hot key that you could have where you could hit it and it'll put a horizontal line on the chart at where your average is. We actually I sent that in to get the devs to hopefully implement that. That would be awesome, because that's the only reason I look away from the chart. I'm trading the chart now. I'm not trading anything else. I get in, I'm trading the chart. I'm not worried about position size being too small, too big. I took care of that beforehand, right? I'm scaled out. I know that scale, when I'm getting in, it's putting me in the right spot. So I'm never going to be scaled in too big. I'm never going to be scaled in too small. I'm going to be right in that sweet spot. So I don't have to worry about that anymore. I'm just going to trade the chart. And once you can get to that point where you're trading the chart, that's a huge step. That is a huge step. Just use that number. It could be 2,000. Yeah. It could be any number. But yeah, you literally, the calculation, one more time, for anybody that missed it earlier, how I'm determining my share size. Take your max loss, which I had to reverse formulate mine because I didn't actually know what mine was. I knew it was pretty low. I'm not gonna lie. But say it's 65. So 65, divide that by the scale of the chart. So for my hotkey, it would be 50 cents on the chart that we were looking at. And then the formula that I came up with through backtesting was you take this number and you times it by 60%. So 0.6, and that's your final share size. So if you wanted to do 112, you would divide this by 2 twice, and there's your starting share size. And if you want to divide it by 20, that's what we get now. So it's about 4. So on a 50-cent scale stock, I'm going to enter with 4 shares, and as it continues, I can scale in, scale in, scale in, and eventually, if I had to scale in full size, I'm probably going to be somewhere around that $65. So, but again, the odds of that happening are very rare. So even in the case where I used 6 entries, it was a 1, 1, 2, 2, 4, 4, and I kept my average up there pretty nicely. I still had 6 of that 20 left. So imagine how far a stock has to go for that to happen. It has to go pretty far, which I can show you guys that chart one more time. Maybe add the date backwards. So look how far this went. Look at previous resistance all the way down here. Right? Let's see if we can get this. Yeah. So previous resistance all the way down here at 2020. And we started this thing at 21. So that was an 80-cent move already. And then it decided to go over another point, another $1.20. That thing had to rip, and look how fast it was. It was in 6 minutes, 5 minutes. That's a fast over extended move. Like that thing is coming down at some point. Could it keep going? Yeah, it could. That's why you have max losses in place. That's why you're not blowing up on any one single trade. This is one trade. Do not let it blow you up. Do not let one trade dictate your trading career. There is not one trade that is worth it. There's going to be trades that you hit that max loss as it's going up, and it's going to suck. But that's why it's there. That's why the oh shit button is there, to protect yourself. Because the one time you don't protect yourself, that thing's going to halt. And then it's going to get some kind of news, and it's going to be news pending. And then it's going to open up $7 higher. And you're done. Right? You just can't do it. There's going to be the black swan. Your goal is to never let the black swan wipe you out. It's that simple. And if you're getting wiped out by something that's not a black swan, then you're really effing up somewhere. What steps are you taking to correct it, aside from smaller share size? Correct what? Correct me? Just believing, becoming more confident, believing in myself, believing that I can actually do this. Scaling down was a big part of it. It allows me to just trade instead of worrying about the money so much. I think that answers most of maybe what you're asking. I don't know, you have to be more specific of what I'm trying to correct. Once I had a light bulb aha moment and kept size down enough to be able to hang in trades, I got some confidence, but at the same time I know my place. Dramatic improvement to the trading, and now I have a lot more consistency. Yeah, that's what it's all about. That's where I'm headed. That's why I said, everyone's like, oh, well, this is obviously working, you should scale up. And it's like, no, let me give it some more time. I'm only 24 trades in. Give me 50 trades. Give me 100 trades. I'm hoping to have that by my birthday, which is September 27th. So I think it's a Sunday this year. So maybe that Monday is the day that I'll look to scale up a little bit. And I'm not looking to like double my size. I'm looking to just go up incrementally, right? Go up 50%, 150%. So go from 4 shares to 6 shares. Go from 10 shares to 15 shares. Not double, just, increments, right? Increments. Just keep going. So then it'll become really normal at that point. Do 100 trades at that size, and then do 100 the next one. And I actually really like Brian's idea. You start with a $2,000 account. You set out to make a certain amount until you make 4,000, and then double it. Whatever share size you were using, double it. And now you're at 4,000. Now when you get to 8,000, do it again. And again, you see, it's a good way to do it. I don't think I'd be that patient. It would take a long time. But you'd have to come up with your set amount that you're starting with too. So with 80% win rate, with those numbers, $5 winners and $20 losers, and break even, you break even. And if you have one max loss, you're negative minus 200. The max loss, I'm confused. The max loss is only 65. I don't know. I think you're still thinking it's higher. Well, and plus, like Brian said, just don't lose. And on top of that, like I said, I'm trying to do this more now. I'm trying to not only have a single entry. I'm trying to, at least if I realize it's the top, at least get that second entry. Because then even if it goes again, that's only 2 of my 20, right? So that's what I'm trying to do, that at least get a little bit more out of that first entry. So a lot of my first 20 trades are a little skewed because I have a lot of single entries instead of getting a little bit more aggressive with it. So if you double my single entries, that $5 average probably goes up to like $7.58. So then it probably changes that quite a bit. Just drink before I trade. I actually think it's a legit strat. Strategy. How much have you paid in stock tuition since you started trading? Well, I just showed you, like $500. Actually, it's probably a couple grand. Like I think it was like 2,000. After fees, commissions, like paying for scanners. If I add that into this, I paid 6. Probably talking like 4,000 probably, roughly, in the hole right now since I started. So yeah, I'm pretty close to being a break-even trader without all the fees, commissions, scanners, stuff like that. But if you factor all that in, yeah. So I'm only down 5. I forget what it was, 535 I think, from trading itself, like since I started. But if you factor all that other stuff in, it's quite a bit. GDT, I eat some mushrooms to calm my nerves. Congrats on finding a winning for. We'll see, Biz. We'll see. We're hoping that's the case. I don't eat before I trade. Too afraid of poops. Irish coffee to start the day. Liquid courage. I have to take a shit around the time the market opens most weekdays. Literally, when I come home from dropping the kids off, I get home usually around like 9 o'clock. It's usually shit, shower. That's usually my routine. That's usually why I don't sit down until about 9:25, because I take my time coming back down. Share size doesn't scare. Not catching big runs scares the bejesus out of me. Well, yeah. A lot of people like the hindsight trade. GDT actually hindsight trades a lot. I actually just told David that GDT should change his name to HDT early. Actually, I think that was yesterday. Because GDT posted something on Twitter saying it could have been a much better day or whatever. But it's like, I wasn't picking on him. I mean, I was obviously, but it's something everybody does, right? Like if this would have bounced where it was bouncing and went high of day and stayed high of day the rest of the day, I'd be like, oh, I'm a genius. Look at that cover. But of course, it drops down and does this and makes me look stupid. Well, yeah, of course, in hindsight, it could have been a much better trade. Who cares? Like that's just how I feel. It's like I got out of the trade. I'm happy with it. Move on. Tom is talking about Devin. Yes, it would. Getting more ads, just using what your current average ads per trade. Oh, gotcha. No, Thomas, you're fine. I'm not trying to prove myself or anything. I'm in this. This is still new to me too. I'm literally 24 trades into this, so I'm still learning too, and that's why I'm down in the size where I'm at, because I'm making sure that I got this the right way. And doing calculations like you are is part of it. It's right. But I'm also at 100% right now. So if we're going off the stats, I mean, I don't have any losers. So obviously that's not probably going to stay the case, but every time I eat while I'm trading, I have to take a nap by market open. I'm usually pretty good. Around 11 o'clock, I start to get pretty tired. You guys can probably see it in my videos a lot. I can't tell you how many times I've posted my video, and once it's posted, I walk right upstairs and pass out. That's another thing that's so nice about trading. You literally can just work when you want to work, right? It's part of why we get into this. A guy teaching me trading years ago wouldn't let me leave my computer and suggested a pee bottle. He kept me on one day for 16 hours straight. Was he in person? I would have just been like, screw you. I'm getting up to go to the bathroom. It's not hindsight trading when you were set up for it and barely stopped you out. Well, raise your stop. Stop losing. Stop losing those final shares to stop outs. Only losers stop out. I feel like I sound like Brian. I was trying to sound like Brian. I mean, speaking of poop. Yeah, no. GDT's right. I do remember that was what happened, but it's not the first time. Like there's times in chat where you'll kind of be like F you to a stock for like 30 minutes in a row. I'm pretty sure we memed you to death the one day with me and Brian were just like giving you the let it go memes or whatever. I do remember that day. The only reason I say something is because someone else does it all day. Yeah, that's what you're talking about, Devin. I like just need to feel it more. I'm working 9 to 5 at the same time. I mean, I used to work a 24/7 when I first started trading. So try watching an infant and a 1-year-old. Google. Where else? And that one that Brian always posts of that girl, I found out her name. Apparently she was on The Bachelor and she was like really popular. So she had like memes galore. So it was really easy to find those. I thought that those were pretty funny. But yeah, just usually Google. Just type in what you're looking for and then add GIF to the end. It's pretty easy. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they were like in every video when I first started the channel. That was so bad. They were so much. I can't believe it's already almost 12. Did Ahmad ever show up in chat? No, we still joke about that. He's always asking like when new guys get a trial to the chat or like new guys come into the chat, he'll be like, hey, or is XYZ here? And one of us is always bound to say, is Ahmad here? So funny. It is funny, like Brian said, apparently people will like beg him for like a week trial in the room and he'll finally give it to him and then they just never show up. So I think that's why he's always saying that, is he gets aggravated. All right, any more real questions? We'll go to 11:50. That'll be our countdown, 5-minute countdown. This music in the background definitely made like time go by way faster. Plus the conversation tonight was pretty good. Not gonna lie. I feel like this was a good stream. And again, tomorrow night, guys, is the Saturday night live stream. So if you want to get even more in depth about the strategy, like try to break it down even more than we already have, if you have specific questions, hit that join button down in the next to the subscribe button. Hit the high level support, pay your dues, and show up tomorrow night, and we'll talk. So what are your thoughts on options? I still have no idea what options are. I mean, I know what they are. No, let me perfect this first. Let me be making lots and lots of money from what I'm doing, trading equities, and then we'll talk options. How about that? How about when I'm making $1,000 days, we'll talk about options. But for now, I'm not worried about it. What is the meaning of life? Well, you're born, you grow up, you go to school. Sometimes you go to more school than others, and then usually you get a job, and then you work that job until retirement, and then you retire, and hopefully when you retire, you live long enough to enjoy all that schooling and all that work that you just did, and then you die. Hopefully you have a family in the process and enjoy it with them a little bit. Yeah, I guess that's that's more of the cycle of life, more so than the meaning of life. I guess the meaning of life is different for each person. Like for me, the meaning of my life changed about 4.5 years ago. Before that, it was about being a kid, playing sports, having fun all the time. And then my oldest was born, and I swear people are not kidding when they say it's like a light switch. And now, I mean, when I first started trading, all I could think about was how I want to make this work so that I can do things for my kids that I didn't get to do. and experience it with them. And like traveling the world is one of them. I want to be successful at this so that I can show my kids the world, because I mean, really, objects are objects, but they can be replaced. They can, be bought in the first place, but to actually experience something like seeing the world, like there's really nothing to me that's greater than that, because what else is there to do that money can't buy? So, I mean, obviously money can buy traveling the world, but just the experience of doing all those things together as a family is kind of what the meaning of life to me is at this point. So, yeah, if you're asking me, that'd be my answer. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? I don't know. How much wood can a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? There's an actual answer to that. My mom used to always say it, but she would always say that saying, and it's supposed to be a tongue twister, but we said it our entire life growing up, so now I can actually say it. A lot of people can't. Sally sells seashells at the seashore. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? I have like a really good lung capacity, so I can not sing. I can out-tone somebody. Like if we both say, let's go, like see who can go longer, I bet I could probably beat everybody here. Just saying. If Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear, and if he had no hair, would Fuzzy Wuzzy be a bear? Yes. I love options. I trade them swing style. Aren't options like just crazy, stupid, volatile? And I feel like trading or swinging them would just make it even worse. How are babies made? A penis is put inside of a vagina. The sperm comes out. It finds an egg inside the woman, goes inside the egg, and that forms a baby. I agree. I went to nail trading before I had options. Yeah. I did lose a bunch of money during the learning curve of options. I feel like there's not a lot of people out there that say they make a living on options. Just saying. Let's park the meaning of life question for later. Ray Dalio will probably put out a book to put the pieces together. Money enables you to be the person you truly are. Gotham, that's actually a really good way to put it. It's so true. Like, money doesn't buy happiness, but it does allow you to do the things that will allow you to be happy. If you're always worried about bills and stuff like that, like, there's some people out there that can even be happy. Obviously, there's people out there that can be happy and they just don't have anything, right? But someone that grew up in a state where you were kind of poor, but you still did things, like, so what's like what you could be doing. Like, it's always going to be in your head that you shouldn't want to get back below that point. So you're always striving to go a little bit further. So if you get back down to that point, you become unhappy, you feel like a failure and stuff like that. So it's like sometimes making more money just helps you keep ease of mind, per se. So, and it does, like, if you want to travel the world to have those experiences with your family, like, you need the money to do it. So you can't just yeah. How many genders are there? There's 2. VO2 max, I don't know what that is. Hold a long note for us. I'm not doing that. We would be here for a little while. Like, seriously, I can go like 3 minutes. Maybe not now. I never actually time myself, but I know for a fact I've done 3 minutes before. To me, it's actually easier to slowly exhale like that than it is to hold my breath. I mean, I can hold my breath for quite a bit too. I used to be that kid that would just go to the side of the pool and like hold the side and hold myself under, and I would just that was fun to me. There is only 2 genders. There's male and there's female. Show monthly P&L. I just did that a little while ago. You can rewind if you want. I learned that stocks move for, and by the way, Hassan, you're not going to find anything that interests you. So if you're looking for some crazy numbers, they're not there. I promise you. I learned that stocks move for a reason. I have several methods of finding the top of most running stocks. If I keep switching, I would have found. If I kept switching, I would have found them. I feel like that contradict. Did you mean to say something else? If I kept switching, I wouldn't. If I kept switching, I wouldn't have found them. I feel like that's. If I didn't keep switching, I would have found them. If I kept switching, I feel like I'm reading that wrong. I want to go beyond that and show my kids and grandkids on how to do this as a career. You're talking about changing a family line from blue collar to, I don't know what collar high-end traders are. Yeah, that's true. I never really thought about that. Because isn't blue collar versus white collar, it's more of a didn't go to college, went to college thing. But I guess anybody that's trading could be from all walks of life, really. Time is the most valuable resource. Look at gold. I personally do not consider it an investment, but more of a place to secure my money. Value for an opportunity to jump at an investment. I can go 3 minutes too. Ha. Ha. Welcome to Tim Reads English. This always happens around the end of the stream. Yeah, I'm definitely... Oh, there's Albie. Albie made it. Tim's definitely not drunk. No. Why are we talking about breathing? I don't know. Somebody asked about it, didn't they? Or maybe I just went off on a tangent. I don't know. How much? I think it was based off of the how much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood. Brian Thomas asked if Ahmad ever showed up in the chat, by the way. Yeah, no math. Yeah, that's how we partial out. You can't take another trade until you can't hold your breath anymore. Hey, I mean that would have been about right? Let's see. 10:13 on the dot. 10:17:05. Yeah, look. Or wait, that's 4 minutes. 4 minutes and 5 seconds. See, I can't do math. I thought it was 3 minutes. If I switched to options and Forex and futures, I would not have learned the fine details of... Oh, gotcha. I learned that stocks move for a reason. I have several methods of finding... See, that's why I was confused. Because you said I have several methods of finding the top of most running stocks. And then you said if I kept switching, I wouldn't have found them. But see, even that contradicts what you just said. You meant to say, if I wouldn't have kept switching, I wouldn't have found them. So I was reading that right. Sing Balimos. No. It's funny too because I'm listening to a song that has Spanish in it right now. I mean, right, Biz? I'm assuming that I am now reading that right. But I get what you're saying. It's kind of like me going through all the other strategies that I've traded in my trading career so far, is it allows me to see other things because I've tried trading them before. This calculation led Mr. Thomas, by extension, to an answer to what was then an 85-year-old question. What are we talking about, Jag? Ahmad is B1's alter ego 90%er. He always asks if he's there in the morning to make sure he's good to go. That's a good point. Could be. Should a woodchuck be so inclined, Thomas concluded he could chuck about 700 pounds of wood as well. So there was a legit answer. That's not the answer that my mom used to say. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck? Oh, so you Googled it because that's right there. It's kind of funny. Yeah, this is what my mom would say. As much wood as a woodchuck could chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood. Which technically is the right answer. It doesn't actually. As much wood as a woodchuck could chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? That was the answer that she always gave us. And then you'd have to say it back just as fast as we'd say. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? As much wood as a woodchuck could chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood. See? Alright, 2.5 minutes, 12 o'clock. She did lie. She could have Googled it this whole time. Back when there was no such thing as the internet, she could have Googled it. Isn't that crazy? The generation that we lived in, like, until now. Like, the stuff that we're talking on, sitting in front of, looking at, to watch the stream, didn't even exist. It's crazy. It's mind-boggling. And our kids nowadays growing up will never know the difference. It's all normal to them. Thanks, Gotham. Appreciate it. Remember, don't show up Monday, guys. It's closed. Monday is a no-go. Where else can you find that answer? What answer? Oh, you're saying Google is just where you find everything? You have been boggled. I would have rather found ISW from day one and never knowing about dead cat bounce or any other strategy. Because if that was all you knew, you would have nothing else to tempt you to trade. Yes and no. I mean, I disagree just to a little extent because I feel like going through all those other strategies, I know what the 90% are looking at. So if I see a key area, I know the 90% are probably going to try to make it bounce there. If it's going up and getting ready to break out and it does break out, I know that the 90% are probably going to FOMO into that and try to drive it higher. Like just trading all those other setups. Like, I mean, technically this is almost kind of like an ABCD pattern. Like you see those, like, actually this is an ABCD pattern, right? A, B, C, and then boom, there goes D for the breakout. So you start to see those patterns and you can kind of predict what could happen. I mean, granted, those are very 50-50 type trades. That's why we like these trades. They're very 85-15, right? So that's the whole point of having an edge that gives us a higher percentage of wins. And that capitalizing on that is the idea. Trading like against the 90% is probably a good thing because 90% of people lose money. So it's that simple. Does options affect trading? When I hear option calls being called out, the stocks don't seem affected. I honestly don't know. Like I said, I do not focus on options. That would be something. I thought you were the one that jumped back and forth. Yeah. You would know more than I do. GDT actually says this better than I do. But if you find something and you're looking at the chart and you are like, this looks like what's going to happen, because that's what the 90%, like, this looks like an ABCD pattern. This looks like a bull flag. This looks like whatever you think it looks like, because it's a common pattern that you see. That, just remember, that's what the 90% have been taught to look for. So watch what it does when it tries to do that, and then base a trade off of the opposite of what they're doing. If the 90% just hit the other button, just saying. I would rather train someone green than someone that thinks they have done something right for the last 10 years that didn't. Now that's different, Thomas. If you're talking like a career, that's why it's actually kind of funny, because all these people that say they're only hiring people with experience, I agree with you. I'd almost rather start with someone that is completely fresh. That way you can mold them into exactly what you want. But with trading, I feel like knowledge is power. So to me, it's a little different. Yes, that comes down to the trader. They have to have the willpower and the emotions to be able to say, I was effing wrong. Like, this obviously wasn't the right way. This is, but it doesn't mean you can't use that knowledge. Now, in the working field, you're going to have people, well, I've been doing this shit for 10 years. This is how I've done it and it works. I'm just going to keep doing it this way. It's just, unfortunately, that's just how it is. But if you come into trading, because at the end of the day, they're still getting paid, right? But come into trading and you just keep trying to do things your old way, you're just going to keep losing money. So yeah, I feel like there is a little difference there. When people buy call options, the market makers have to buy the amount of shares that neutralize the amount of deltas. Okay. Is your Roomba turning on? I actually turned it off. It comes on an hour ago. I'm going to turn it on once I get off. Is the 90-10 rule... it's the 90-10 rule. Works for everything. I mean, yeah, you're kind of right. They're part of the Greeks. I'm not getting into that. Get the options talk out of here. But if you learn this first and then get all the knowledge after you no, I agree, Thomas. I do agree with you. In the big picture, I do agree with you. I'm just saying it's not too late. It's not too late for people that haven't been trading this way to come over. It's what I did. It's what you did. It's what a lot of people have to do because they didn't find ISW first. So DDD system. Oh, Devin Danger Dallas. I was like, what are you, Triple D? Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, what he does, he figured it out. And trust me, he didn't get there overnight. He's been at it for quite some time. Got to start by going long at the top. Buy high, hope higher. I mean, I always look at it this way. When something's taken off and it's just going straight up, I start thinking to myself, who the F is buying this up here? Right? That's what I'm thinking. Who is buying right now? Who is stupid enough to see that this thing has already gone pretty much straight up, and they're thinking it's a good thing to buy in here? When you start thinking that, hit the short button. Hit that sell button. It's probably a good entry. So many trending gap traders fail and find the dark side. Counter trading. Triple D is Devin. His initials are, I don't want to say his name again, but if you really want to go back, I did say it. And yes, his middle name is Danger. Somebody was asking for you earlier, Albert. Let me scroll up, see who it was. It was Mark Cantrell. He said, where's AD? And I said, I don't know where AD is. All right. I think I'm going to get out of here. Usually when Albert comes and says hi, it's usually about when I'm getting off anyway, so perfect timing. I'm pretty tired and I have a ton of yard work to do tomorrow. Anybody that does yard, like actually takes care of their yard, I'm dethatching, I'm aerating manually, and then I am leveling with a bunch of topsoil. I have 50 pounds or 50 40-pound bags of topsoil. They're already here. I went and bought them the other day. Leveling that out and then overseeding. So yeah. And then I still have to go to Home Depot to get some more peat moss to put on top of the very bare spots. Hole by hole. It's actually 2 holes. It's almost like a shovel, but it's got 2 handles. You push it into the ground, it's got a footstep. You step on it and pokes the 2 holes up. And yeah, I do it. I did out front last week, and it took about an hour and a half to do about, it's like 1,000 square feet, and out back's probably about double that. So it's going to take a while. I probably won't aerate as close together like I did out front, because out front needed a lot more work. Out back is not in bad shape, so I'm more so doing that out back to kind of just, give it the healthiness, but I'll probably space that out a little bit more out back. Have a good weekend, guys. Remember, don't show up Monday. Still working in my office. Yeah. One day I'll just be Brian until I'll just hire the pool boy to come do it for me. But which hole do I like better? I like the second hole. And as Albert would say, with my Instagram model wife. Done with rock work and painting and doing the finishing work. Nice. That's the other thing I have an advantage of too is I have worked pretty hard up until this point in my life, so it's pretty easy for me to sit back and enjoy the smaller things in life, like just sitting in my chair for some of the day. Any hole with a heartbeat then is optional. Oh God. Yeah, this is getting out of control. My yard it's not huge, but it's not small either. It's like a mid-size. I think it's like 2,700 square feet total. So it's got some size to it. I have a bunch of stuff. I have a big problem with crabgrass, but like I have some fertilizer. Like I use some of this sometimes. I like using granular, but sometimes I'll just use that for a quickie spray of some fertilization. I'm pretty sure it's about 2,700 square feet. I wish it was 10 square feet. That'd be pretty easy to take care of. Yeah, it's a lot of work. I'll take some before and after pictures just to show you guys. Although the after pictures won't be until probably like the end of the month. You gotta let the grass come in. All right, I'm getting out of here. You guys have a good weekend. If you do have any questions or comments about tonight, feel free to sign up and come to the stream tomorrow night, or just ask comments section below. All the good stuff on this thing processes. You can find me in Discord, Twitter, all that good stuff. Yeah, I think that's it. Don't forget to hit the like button on the way out. Subscribe if you haven't already. Appreciate it. I'll see you guys again. Don't show up Monday. It's closed. You're gonna be really disappointed. Bye. Oh, hit the wrong button. Shit. Don't mind me. All right, I'm out of here.